All right. Hey folks, hey Tower folks, Giga's here. How are we doing tonight? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly, and the music is good, and the visual is clear. Hello, Maria Hiroto. Hello, Mashed Potato. Here's the Heavens Brother, thank you. Troubleshooting, thank you. Let me know if the music is too loud. I can adjust it. But I think I had it where my voice is clear on top of the music. But happy to adjust if the music is too loud. Anyhow, welcome everyone for tonight's special stream. We're gonna do a version 28.3 EHP versus Glass Cannon comparison stream. Version 28.3 just dropped. It's been the hot topic recently on multiple discords. Our The Sanctuary Discord had like more than 300 messages in general chat that were people talking about version 28.3. Many people think that this version had a lot of profound impact on EHP and Glass Cannon. And tonight we're about to verify. We're going to verify some of those claims and some of those assumptions based on what we've seen on the patch notes. So my tower happens to be able to do either EHP or pure Glass Cannon. So today the plan is we're going to do today's tournament with an EHP run, pure EHP, and we're going to do a pure Glass Cannon run, and we'll see how things go. And we'll end today's stream with a usual hybrid run towards the end. So that's the plan. Today's stream might be a bit longer than usual, but we'll see. We'll try to finish it concisely. Okay, I've got some reverb issues with my mic apparently. I could just switch to my iPad mic. Right now I'm just using my my headphone, but let me try switching to my iPad mic to see if that's better. Give me one sec. Alright, let's see. Is this better? Does this sound better? Can somebody let me know? Blah blah blah. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Much better. Thank you. All right, that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you. Thank you for checking, Mashed Potato. Somebody sent me a question. I just reached Legends. I'm missing 3 weapons, but have assist mods unlocked. My goal is to hit 98% in tournaments. Do you think it's reasonable for me to max armor substat before weapons? Yeah. You will need the. I don't think you need absolutely max, because if you have all the relics, you should be able to hit 98% without maxing it. But yeah, working on the armor substat is going to be useful in terms of reaching that 98%. Okay, picking up the music here, but sound a lot better. Maybe it's because of the fan, but let me try working on the music a bit. Alright, well, let me know if that's better. If not, we'll just go with without music for a bit. Okay, let me know. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Everything good? Music good? Voice good? Oh, now music is a little soft. Okay. Alright, maybe that's better. Okay, we'll adjust during the run. So I'm gonna get into the run. Okay, so let me know in chat which one you want me to do the first, because tonight we're doing 1 HP run, 1 glass cannon run, and 1 hyper run. So hyper run is gonna be at the end. Type EHP in the chat if you want me to do EHP run first. Type glass cannon in the chat if you want me to do glass cannon run first. Glass cannon first. I got 1 vote on glass cannon, 1 vote on EHP. Glass cannon, alright, 2 vote on glass cannon. Okay, let me know if you're still hearing weird sound. If that's the case, I'll just turn out music for a while. Because I didn't run into the sound issue in my previous couple of streams, but I'll adjust later. But let me know if the sound still sounds weird. Okay, we're gonna start setting up for looks like glass cannon. We have 1 more vote for glass cannon. Okay, so we're gonna do glass cannon first. And we're gonna do it disco style. Okay, so with glass cannon, I'm just gonna not have anything in EHP, the defense tab, and with EHP, I'm just gonna not have anything in the attack tab. Okay, so if we do glass cannon, let's see. We put on amplifying strike. Pick whatever you think is worth first. Well, I did have 2 votes on glass cannon, so we'll do glass cannon first. You folks can also give me some advice in terms of how you want the setup to be. But I'm gonna go with no armor module. I'm gonna do the same for EHP. I'm gonna go with no cannon module for EHP. Just to devil it as much as possible. Because let's see. So this is gonna be a dissonant style tournament run, basically. Let's see. I could either do ohm chip or harmony conductor for assist. Let's just do ohm chip for a little bit more damage. And then we'll obviously need project funding. I think project funding and SH is a good combo for damage. Let's see, today we have orb resistant Thorn, boss ultimate basic, and fast. Okay. Nothing stands out too much, so I think this is fine. And by the way, my tower is pretty even in terms of levels in EHP and damage. You can see I have 3 substats 100%, and then I have 50, 50, 50. So like EHP is 50 and damage and ultimate weapon is 50, so pretty even. I also have all the masteries, and all the masteries are maxed except critical coin. Except for critical coin, every masteries are maxed. Okay, so I think that's it for the module. We'll put in some cards. So damage, 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 We're putting some CC as well. Damage. Orbs. Some percent damage. Sprint. Net. Super tower. All of that. Berserker. Ultimate crit. Nuke area effect. Okay. That should be all the damage stuff, right? Let me know if I missed anything. And again, let me know if anybody still thinks the music, something is wrong with it. Otherwise, we'll continue. All right, GC tournament. Okay, we're gonna clean this up. So it's gonna be dissonant style, so we're just not gonna put anything here. But we're gonna have everything unlocked in the attack tab. Okay. And I think for this, we can just max everything. Okay. Enhancement. So let's get it to about 0.5 as a start. Oh, somewhat noisy background. Okay, we'll just kill the music for tonight. There we go. I will entertain you with my voice. Let's see, attack speed. Let's have it at 1.7 for now. We'll come back to this. I'm not gonna put anything in the defense tab. And then for this, I think we just need some cash bonus for project funding. I guess we could give it 3.5. Let's see, free upgrades. We don't need free upgrades. Enemy level skip, we'll put it at, what did I use for hybrid? 1.3 hybrid. Yeah, 1.3 is fine. Enemy level skip is not that useful in tournament nowadays. Okay. All right, I think that's the setup, right? 3.5 across the board, 3.5, and then I'm gonna do the click on the attack speed to max it out. Well, not maxing out. It used to max out at 1.75, but they added more, so now it's 1.8. And then we're gonna click a few click into here. We'll just do it evenly. So more here. And maybe just one click here. Okay. All right, that should be good enough for setting up the damage side of things. So we have workshop, cards, modules all set up. And then the bot, we're gonna go in with the hyper setup. Flame bot is gonna have some damage reduction on it, but because we don't have the defense tab, that shouldn't matter. I'm mostly using it for the wildfire, the flame bot plus. We got M bot, a bit of M bot plus, and decent bot. So we'll go in with that. Let's see, check my range. I think having more range is gonna be good for range per meter. Okay. Actually, I'm going to lower it a bit, just so the poison swamp is relatively bigger compared to tower range. We can see what that looks like. So yeah, I think around here. So that gives us 98. Perfect. 100 meters is about where I want it. Let me just go to a farming run to check the setup. Okay. We want to make sure everything is on. All right, and what is my orb 60? That should be fine. Okay, that looks fine. All right, we should be ready to go. I'm gonna join. I've not joined the bracket, so if you are on the live stream and you want to join with me, we're gonna pick a time and we're gonna join. So we're gonna do 7:39 PST, 7:39. So if you're on EST, that's 10:39. Don't wait for me to say like 3, 2, 1 join because the stream is a bit delayed. So just aim for 7:39, which is in about 1 minute. Okay, as soon as the clock says 7:39, I'm gonna hit battle and we're gonna join together. All right, let's get ready. This is just for fun, for joining together. It's always fun to see somebody in chat or in my in our Discord in my bracket. So always fun to see people we know. Okay, almost. 7:39. Let's go. All right. Hopefully, those of you who wanted to join have joined. So here's our glass cannon run. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how many people we got. If you're in chat and you just joined my bracket, type something in the chat so I know. Oh, I see 1776. How's it going? Good to see you. I see Creighton. I think I see Creighton. Things are jumping around, but I think I see Creighton. Kaiten. Yeah, I see a few familiar faces. That's good. Okay, so yeah, for those of you who just joined just now, we are doing version 28.3 EHP versus Glass Cannon special stream. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Based on popular demand, we're starting with the Glass Cannon run, and then after this, we'll do the EHP run. So this is to see if 28.3 has made Glass Cannon's life easier. I would particularly be interested in seeing how we're doing with overcharge when they start to show up. So we'll see. I have all the ultimate weapon toggled off, and I realized the aim bot, the amp bot is actually really bright on the screen, isn't it? And it's a huge amp bot. Wow, that amp bot is huge. So you'll notice that we don't have the wall because we're doing this in disco style. So when we do the EHP run, we will not have the attack, anything from the attack tab. So right now we don't have anything in the defense tab. So we don't have the wall. But if life truly got easier for Glass Cannon to kill overcharge, I think we don't need a wall, right? We should be able to kill overcharge even before they enter the orbit, inside the tower range. I wish there was a way to dim the amplify bot. It's just very bright on my screen. So my tower is, by the way, pretty even in terms of levels and stuff, like labs, modules, and masteries and assist module levels. Pretty even between EHP and Glass Cannon. But based on my recent calculation, I have spent about 20,000 stones in EHP, like in things that should be categorized functionally in the EHP, and about 90,000 stones for things that functionally should be categorized under flat damage. So I would actually expect my tower to do better in the EHP category compared to in the Glass Cannon category compared to EHP, simply because I've spent more than 4 times the stones in the damage category compared to the EHP category. But we'll see. Glass Cannon has been getting a lot of buffs recently. So that's what we're running with. We're just not using the armor module. We'll do the same when we do the EHP run. We're just not going to use the cannon modules. But of course, every tower is different. So just because my tower does better EHP versus damage or vice versa doesn't mean it's gonna apply to everyone. But I do want to show like a general sense, what things look like nowadays with Glass Cannon 0 EHP versus EHP 0 damage. So it looks like my region is actually 0. Wow. So we cannot take a hit, and so far we have not taken a hit, so that's a good sign. We're up to wave 500. Not bad. Looking pretty good so far, I would say. Oh, hey, Nemesis. Thanks for joining. What's the challenge this week? Well, tonight we're doing the version 28.3 special stream, EHP versus Glass Cannon. So I'm doing a Glass Cannon no EHP run, and then I'm doing a EHP no damage run, just to see what things look like in more of the extreme cases. And then we'll, if we have time, we'll end the stream with a hybrid run at the end. But I think the glass cannon EHP runs are probably more important because we gotta verify a few things that we learned from the patch note of 28.3. And tonight, I think, due to some noise canceling setup, I was having some trouble playing music in the background, but I just pasted the my music playlist on YouTube in the chat. So if you want, you could just listen to the playlist. This includes all the songs that I've made. I have not uploaded songs made by Hugo there. I'll probably upload those later, but this has a handful of songs that I've made in the past. So if you want, you can just have that open on the side and listen to that. Those are the usual songs I play anyways. Okay, we are hitting almost 800 waves. Still looking pretty good. Well, a few strong folks in the bracket. I think people are already starting to do tier 22, some of them. And this is, of course, technically not like the purest of glass cannon, because I do have a lot of CC, right? So this is glass cannon plus CC. It's not the true purest glass cannon. Hey Giga, what's up? This is whatever guy. I saw you in the bracket and thought you were streaming. Coincidence. Haha, yeah, thanks for joining. You caught me. Let's see, whatever guy is... Alright, right here. Nice. We got a strong tower there. Ooh, that commander just got vaporized. Yeah, so we're doing a version 28.3 EHP versus glass cannon special stream tonight. All right, let's see if we can spot an overcharge coming in and see what that looks like. And again, I really wish the amp bot is not this bright. Kind of makes it hard to see stuff when the amp bot is on. Oh, there it is. Oh, it died instantly. Very good. I guess we'll catch it next time. It's gonna be about every 30 waves, so I guess I can slow down, because next one, yeah, there we go. Next one is Commander, and next one should be Saboteur. Actually, next one should be Commander, because I think that was the Actra Commander. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that commander died. Here, let me slow it down a bit so it's easier to see the fleets. Next one should be around 1060. Yeah, 1060 for the overcharge. Oh no, that was a saboteur, so in 30 more waves, overcharge should be, roughly. So saboteur, to my understanding, did not get slowed down. It comes in the regular speed, so but commander and overcharge are slowed down significantly. They have 1/5 of the basic enemy speed now compared to a pre-patch. I wonder if they get sped up by fast ultimate now. Well, we'll have to see, I guess. Let me here we go. Where's the overcharge? There it is. Oh, look at that. Just died instantly. Yeah, see, this is why my theory is that glass cannon without EHP is gonna do pretty well now, since overcharge only shoots when they're inside the tower range, and then if you have things like Chronofield Plus, it's gonna take them a while to like orbit your tower before they even get into tower range. So I expect most of them to die outside of your tower range. I mean, even before 28.3. A lot of the high-end damage towers basically kill overcharge outside of their tower range with bounce shots and whatnot anyways. So this just makes it easier. Plus nowadays, my understanding is even if overcharges starts shooting, they always start shooting from the wave 1 damage. So you still should have a few hits you can tank. Even if you have like a little bit of EHP once it starts shooting. But again, for high-end damage towers, I expect overcharge to just die before it can even enter the tower range, as we can see in a lot of the cases during the this intro sprint. Ran straight to 3K on tier 22 earlier today. Yeah, nice. I wish they would give us toggles for bots as well. Yep. Make the M bot dimmer. Overcharge at 504 billion is going to be easy to tank. Yep. At least a few hits should give you enough time to kill it with damage. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Luke. Giga, what range are you running? I believe I'm running max. I'm running 100 range. Never mind. Yeah, 100 meter range. I usually like to run max range, but I'm running 100 meters so that the poison swamp is like a bit covering the outer line of the chrono loop. Because the chrono loop, if you max the lab that increases range, it has like 30 meters or so, like a little bit beyond your tower range. So I want to kind of capture that range with poison swamp. So to do that, like 100 meter is perfect. So that way, anything that starts spinning will get tagged by a poison swamp. So it doesn't have to wait till things to come inside of your tower range to start killing things. Is my dash wave still alive? Because it looks like my dash wave never got turned off. I think my dash wave is still alive. Oh, it got turned off. Never mind. But my dash wave is actually pretty strong. I have 7 levels of dash wave plus. That's right. And I also have 7 levels of dash creep, so poison swamp plus. And I have decent poison swamp damage at 1000 times and 1000 times dash wave. So I have a bit of every type of damage. My chain lightning is also pretty good. 2000 times damage. Yeah, I have a little bit of auto damage. I have not really invested in inner landmine and smart missiles, but that's gonna be those are gonna be invested in due time. But I do plan to have more investment in poison swamp soon. Nemesis says, from what I've heard, you can run up to 180-meter range, and all the scaling items stay relatively the same size. Does it not work this way for ultimate weapons? Yeah, you can. 180 meters is fine, but the ultimate weapons like the inner landmine radius, swamp radius, those are static. So, like, those don't change. I think you might be thinking about like bot range and stuff like that. DB Cooper says, get enough EHP to tank overcharge and you're golden. To some extent, that's true. But I think the problem with 28.3 is that they made it so that the Thorns cannot kill any of the fleets. So fleets like Thorns only do remaining health percent damage instead of like health based percent damage. So they can't land the finishing blow. So the finishing blow has to be done via other means, such as just using a bit of damage. So I think that's like a major change that impacts EHP negatively, in my opinion. Because if you have no damage, even if you have really strong EHP, eventually overcharge will outscale you, because nowadays they do actually scale their damage exponentially. So eventually they will outscale you, and then you're gonna die. So you need some kind of flat damage, or I will try Smite Toggle later to see if that still works to kill the fleets if you have no damage. Yeah, I think Hyper is going to be really strong, but I'm also thinking that if it's possible to just vaporize all the overcharge with pure damage, then why build EHP as a glass cannon? You just keep going down the path of glass cannon, and you don't need to worry about tanking overcharge. And this was kind of the state of the game like 2 major versions ago. I think it was version 25 or version 26. I forgot which one exactly, but I think we are kind of back to that state where glass cannon players didn't really have to build EHP. I think it was version 27, no 6 when the fleets were introduced. That in order to tank overcharge, it was very effective for glass cannon players to get a little bit of EHP to tank overcharge. But nowadays, I think if you have strong enough damage, it looks like you can just ignore EHP completely, and your tower just won't get hit by anything. The overcharge is not going to be a problem. The shoot on dash mechanic shouldn't even like pop if you're able to kill all the overcharge outside of the tower range, because that thing only pops if you're inside. So that one, the overcharge actually died inside the tower range, so we can see one energy shield was used there. But yeah, like I suppose if your damage is actually strong enough, you should be able to kill overcharge just outside of your tower range, and you wouldn't need to worry about the shot on dash mechanic. Also, it did look like that overcharge blinked a little bit, so maybe fast ultimate did speed up that overcharge. So maybe fast ultimate is still pretty bad for everyone. we have to look at it again. We have to slow down, look at it again. Let me see if we can slow down. Yeah, I think overcharge is at least the first few shots, or I should say the first maybe like 100 shot are still fairly easily mitigatable with EHP. But the question is EHP actually still needed for glass cannon, right? Like it can be easily mitigated, but do you still need to invest in EHP to try to tank overcharge? Like how, most glass cannon players, I shouldn't say most, but some glass cannon players invested in EHP in back in like version 26 or something. Because so far that's looking like a no, because I'm almost finishing up intro sprint, and so far I've had no problem with overcharge at all. Let's see. Oh yeah, this overcharge does definitely got sped up. Looks like, and then it got stunned on the poison swamp. Yeah. So without fast ultimate, I think it's gonna be much easier to do what I'm trying to do, right? To kill overcharge outside of tower range. So with fast ultimate, it does look like they come into tower range pretty quickly. Oh, I should probably turn on fleet targeting, right? In case we need that. So we need to be fleets and closest. I usually just use closest, but we'll turn on fleet targeting. Okay, let's return the speed, and we'll see how long we can last past the intro sprint. So pre-patch before 28.3, I don't recall my glass cannon setup can do this many waves in the tournament if I if I have nothing in the defense tab, right? Because I literally have nothing in the defense tab. Like nothing is unlocked in the workshop, and nothing is unlocked in workshop plus. So before the patch, I don't recall being able to go this long without any like second wind popping or demon mode popping or anything. So I think this is definitely a big buff because before the patch, the overcharge will always start shooting outside of the tower range, right? So very often they are gonna cause issues during the intro sprint, because during intro sprint, like they coming rapidly. So if you have nothing to defend yourself against, you have no EHP, your energy shield is gonna go down very, very quickly during intro sprint. But nowadays during intro sprint, as you can see, I only used like 2 energy shield that whole intro sprint, because most of the overcharges died without able to enter my tower range orbit, and this is, keep in mind, even under fast ultimate. Without fast ultimate, I think it'd just be much harder for overcharge to even reach the inner orbit, to reach the tower range, because looks like fast ultimate is speeding up overcharge to help it reach inside. But even then, I think like only 2 overcharge ever reached inside of the tower range during the intro sprint. So in this run, I'm using roughly about 90,000 stones. Oh, let's look at this. So that's one shot. I think it's the death. Yeah, that's one shot on death. I don't think it actually shot. It just came into tower range. I killed it and I did the shot on death. So that's one shot. Yeah, from that overcharge. Okay, so I was saying, so this setup, I'm using about 90,000 stones from my flat damage investment, and about 80,000 stones from my crowd control and percent damage investment. So yeah, 80 plus 90 is about 170,000. So my effective lifetime stone for this run is about 170,000. My total lifetime stone is about 260k, but a lot of it is like econ, some of it is EHP, and some of it, damage versus crowd control. So, I think when we look at a certain tower during a certain run, we have to, if they're not using certain aspect of the tower, for example, like during a run, technically your econ isn't being used. We should think of the effective stone in run in terms of like what's actually being used, right? So in this case, like I'm effectively only using 170,000 stones of my 260. So I don't think it's very helpful for people to say, for example, oh, he can do this many waves with glass cannon because he has 260,000 stones. Right? So we need to think critically in terms of like what are the things that are in use, that are in effect, and things like that. Let's see. Farming tier 21 overcharge at 48 Q damage. Yep. Tier 22 24 has crazy scaling. You need to be glass cannon. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Tier 22 24 is looking like EHP does not matter at all. Might as well try to like scale a little bit of glass cannon, like a little bit more damage, because EHP does not matter at all after tier 21. I am able to tank stuff in tier 21 because I farmed tier 21 to like about 4,000 waves nowadays. But I have not tried tier 22 and 23. And so, because I just got the update, I'm on iOS, so the update is kind of slow. So I haven't gotten like a real chance to try things out, but we'll try those later. But I don't think EHP matters at all for tier 22 24. And again, in tournaments, what I'm seeing is the assumption that many people were drawing was correct. I don't think strong glass cannon tower in 28.3 actually needs to invest in EHP at all. Like 0 EHP, full glass cannon is viable again. It's driving. Look at that overcharge just got obliterated there. Yeah, it's I think it's driving. I have full energy shield and everything. So far, very few overcharge has even gotten a chance to shoot me, and this is with shot on dash mechanic. Yeah, so looking pretty good for glass cannon. No EHP needed. Let's see. DB Cooper said, I think you need some EHP, but you don't need nearly as much as before. Yeah, I mean, some EHP is always better than no EHP, right? But I think if your damage is strong enough, it's still not a necessity. Because on the EHP side, the assumption is damage is becoming a necessity because we can no longer kill fleet with thorns. So even if you tank all the overcharge shot, like it's never gonna die, right? So it's becoming a necessity. It's not like good to have. Versus on the glass cannon side, EHP is good to have. Like you can build some, it's gonna help you, but it doesn't seem like it's a necessity based on what I'm seeing right now. Luke says, I finally have a wall strong enough to use it and be happy with results. So far only in farming. I will try in tournament later on. I hope to see huge improvements. Yeah, they did buff Primordial Collapse. So I think EHP in early and mid game is going to be happy about the patch. The problem, of course, is once you hit late game, once the fleets come into play, the new change is not very good for EHP when it comes to fleets. DB Cooper says CC slow is more important than ever. I agree, yeah. I mean, CC slow now affects overcharge more than before, right? Because before, overcharge was not affected by things like slow aura or nuke mastery, slow aura mastery, nuke mastery, but nowadays, those directly affect overcharge. As a matter of fact, on the EHP side, nowadays, these type of CC actually directly boosts EHP in terms of tanking overcharge, because it makes the overcharge coming slower but also shoot slower. And if the overcharge shoots slower, it ramps the damage slower. So mathematically, that actually is an EHP buff when you slows down the attack speed of the overcharge. But this also means that the battle condition, like enemy attack speed, is going to be extra bad for EHP now because of the overcharge shooting like crazy fast and having that damage scales up very quickly. Need to max Chronofield Plus. Yeah, I do have max Chronofield Plus. I do recommend it. Fluffy said, yeah, the bias towards 0 EHP is disgusting and blatant. Well, I'm just doing some verification right now. So we'll see how long my tower lasts in the glass cannon category. But I do expect tonight a glass cannon setup to beat out EHP setup. And like I said, pre-28.3, I don't think this was possible. I don't think I would have gotten this far. I remember a while back, one of my video, I think it's that video on my channel that said I was going glass cannon. In that video, I tested pretty much this exact setup, and I remember I only got like 250 waves or something, and that was like what, two months ago. I promise you, my tower has not improved like 100-fold in 2 months. So it's not like I got like, you know, tons and tons more damage, because that video was right before the dissonance runs got released. So it's not that far back. I mean, it's right after dissonance runs got released. So I think it's at the beginning of version 28. So it was not that far back. And I remember in that video, this setup only got like 200 and something waves. I think it was like below 300 waves, right? Or maybe it was the glass cannon plus CC setup that I remember got like around 1,300, which is still much lower than what I have right now. Yeah, I remember that one. Maybe it's 1,300 glass cannon plus CC. The glass cannon only without CC was like 250 waves. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So yeah, just based on this patch, 1,300 waves back in the day with now 1,900 approaching 3,000, and doesn't look like I'm dying anytime soon because I have second wind. I have demon mode still to be activated. I have, you know, Berserker Mastery Viking Funeral. That's always gonna save me for glass cannon setup. And I have the nuke as the final backup. So yeah, I mean, this is quite strong. 28.3 glass cannon is quite strong, guys. Because my tower honestly didn't change that much from the last time I tried this. And we're looking completely different. Let's see. Luke says, by the way, I started watching Gurren Lagann. So far, I really like it, especially Yoko. Yeah, You are a cultured man, I see. But yes, Gurren Lagann is hype. It's your, I think it's one of the most epic robot anime, but with all the other, you know, elements of a hot-blooded robot anime should have, including hot girls. So it's there. Go check it out. Fluffy said EHP isn't considered necessity by one of the EH kings. We'll see. So that's a good thing, right? So because I see this game as a sandbox game, ideally nothing should be a necessity, right? Like we shouldn't require all players to get damage, and we should not require all players to get EHP. Right now, I think the problem is all players are required to get damage, but not all players are required to get EHP. Right. So I think that's the imbalance in 28.3 really. But if we advocate for, you know, player agency and all that, I think, you know, people should be free to build their tower however they want and play however they want to play. Which means, you know, if you want to go hybrid, you go hybrid. If you hate the EHP playstyle, you just want to go full glass cannon, well, you can. It's doing very well. But if you don't like the glass cannon, like the damage playstyle, you want to just full on EHP, you should have the option to do that, right? Same thing with like CCM percent damage. If you don't like CCM percent damage, you shouldn't need to do those. And if you do, well, you could go all in. Maybe, you know, you don't even need much like damage and EHP, just go like CCM percent damage more, right? Well, looks like the bosses are giving us some trouble, so around wave 2000, it looks like is about where our glass cannon tower is gonna take us. We do have demon mode still. Yeah, so demon mode activates, so that's gonna give us a damage boost, but I guess, yeah, around 2000 is where this is gonna take us. But that's pretty good. I mean, that's EHP with zero, that's glass cannon with 0 EHP. Fully viable, almost 2000 in legend. And I don't have like a huge amount invested in damage. I have like around 90,000 lifetime stones invested in damage. So you could go much higher on the damage side in terms of stone investment. Like you could easily put in, like from where I am, you could easily put in like 200k more stones into damage. So like 90,000 is nothing. But yeah, looks like our chain lightning, poison swamp is all doing pretty good. Pretty good work on most of the bosses. Yeah, and I'm gonna invest more in poison swamp later, so that's probably gonna outscale my chain lightning soon. What's up, y'all? Grand Pong, how's it going? DB Cooper said I got new plus, SA plus the last couple weeks just to deal with rays. Great buff with fleets. Yep. No wall. Well, so we're doing a glass cannon. So we're doing basically a EHP dissonance run. we're using a pure glass cannon build in tournament. But we're doing a dissonance style, which means I have nothing in the defense tab. So no wall, unfortunately. Luke says, I just started to farm tier 10, so that's early progress, but I'm closer and closer to unlock the fleet, only a few more months. Nice, yeah. Yeah, once you unlock the fleets, the game kind of changes, but it's fun. It's exciting challenge. Fluffy said, I agree, Giga, like that. I like that take. I just hope we get some balance later, like in version 29. Yeah, certainly hope. I hope so. DB Cooper said bosses are beefy. They get insane health in tier 22 to 24. They feel like bosses. That's good. I mean, for the longest time, like we've just been ignoring bosses, right? So, you know, having them feel more beefy, I think is a good thing. All right. Oh, we hit wave 2000. All right, folks. Now, if there's anything that troubles my tower, nothing a Viking funeral cannot fix. Because that's 500x damage for a good amount of time. I have that max, so that's how many seconds? 300 seconds. Very good. Divide by 5 is 60 seconds. Okay, let's look at this overcharge. Okay, hold. Alright, so looks like it did speed itself into the tower range, thanks to fast ultimate, but let's see how it reacts. I don't see a shot coming off of it. I think it's struggling to shoot because of how many slows down. Oh, there's one shot, but look at that. Because of my energy shield mastery, which is also max, by the way, it bonks the overcharge back outside of the tower range. And in normal circumstances, without fast ultimate, this overcharge still has to circle my tower a few times before it can get back into the tower range, because it's going to be very, very slow, right? Because 1/5 of normal enemy speed. But thanks to fast ultimate, it should be able to come back relatively quickly. But I'm just saying, like, if you have things like energy shield mastery, it's even less likely that overcharge will die within your tower range. It's much more likely it will actually die outside of your tower range. So, especially if it has already been tagged by things like Poison Swamp. Yeah, so it scooped right in because of fast ultimate. It's not supposed to move that fast without fast ultimate. Let's see if it shoots again. It's not shooting yet because of all my CC that slows it down. Oh, it's about to shoot. Yes? Yes, okay. Yeah, so it shot again, but it got bounced back. And then it got stunned on Poison Swarm for a bit, and now it's back. And now it's gonna take like a long time to shoot again. Alright, there we go. So nuke did go off on that overcharge. But yeah, interestingly enough, I think fast ultimate does make this hard. And then we got killed by a boss. Alright, so roughly wave 2000. Pretty good for Glass Cannon 0 EHP. And this is actually more than 0 EHP because we literally turn off the entirety of the defense tab, right? So we had nothing in the defense tab, which means we also don't have things like the shockwave, right? Like we could have had more orbs. We could have used if we had shockwave, we could have used anti-Q portal. So like Glass Cannon would actually be much stronger, even my Glass Cannon, if I do the proper Glass Cannon run. But here, just to make it fun, I did the disco style, right? But just think of it as like I could probably go to maybe 2000, like 300. You know, if this was a proper Glass Cannon setup with no EHP at all. So yeah, I don't think EHP is a necessity for Glass Cannon now that the overcharges are so easy to deal with. All right, so now let's try the opposite, right? So now we're gonna do EHP no Glass Cannon, EHP no damage. So similarly, we're gonna not use any cannon, and we're gonna put on some EHP stuff. So let's put this. Oh, I suppose I need to equip my old stuff first, so we can get the level. Okay, we're gonna put on my good old friend SF. And my good old friend Wormhole Redirector. This is my standard full EHP setup because both of these modules have wall health, defense percent, defense absolute, and health regen. As we can see, defense percent, health regen, wall health, defense absolute. So this is as much EHP I can get. And then we are going to do the disco style to be consistent. So we're not really gonna have a lot of like projectiles and stuff. So I think for the core, it probably doesn't matter. We could probably, the generator, it probably doesn't matter. We probably put SH for a little bit bigger flame bot for a little bit better consistency. We can just put Galaxy compressor, shouldn't matter too much. And then of course, the improved Primordial Collapse. Let's see how well it serves us tonight. And then here I usually put HC in this slot. Okay, so I think that's the module setup that we're gonna go in with. All right, and on the card side, we're gonna do EHP tournament. EHP also requires fewer number of cards. So here, just to double check, we have, let's see, health regen, range. I'm thinking we don't probably, yeah, range is probably not gonna matter much. We can just take that off. Let's see, slow aura, defense, fortress, free upgrade, extra aura, plasma cannon, wave skid, intro spring, lead mine stun, recovery package chance. We can put on death ray, energy net, super tower, second wind. No super tower. Second wind. Energy net could be useful for like capturing bosses on the orb line. Second wind, demon mode, energy shield, nuke area of effect. Okay, so yeah, I think that's gonna be the setup. Energy shield is not that useful for EHP, but can't hurt. It's a little bit of percent-based mitigation because each energy shield mitigates infinite amount of damage, right? So like percent damage. This is like percent mitigation, so still mitigation. Okay, and then on the EHP side, we can also redo this just to make it clean. All right. So we're gonna start with not buying anything from the damage tab. And then we're just gonna max everything out here. I'm thinking maybe we don't even need Thorn. We just going with zero Thorn pacifist EHP build. Since Thorns don't kill fleets anyways. Okay, let's see. Let me leave the shockwave size out for now. And we buy the rest. And we can add thorns like in the run if we want to. Not a big deal. Let's see. So here we'll kind of do the same thing. Just buy everything here. Okay. Enhancement. We're not gonna buy anything in damage. And then similar to when we did the glass cannon run, we'll start with 3.5 on all the relevant stats, including our good friend Defense Absolute. Okay, let's see. And on this side, we're gonna want to unlock the package health. There you go. We'll do 0.5. And this doesn't matter. Okay, and then we'll spend the rest. So we'll do try to do things evenly. Let's see. Okay. Something like that. I feel like one more click on wall house is probably more useful than one more click on defense absolute, but it's fine. It's fine. We gotta showcase our baller defense absolute. All right. I think that's the setup. Okay, and then for the bots, we want to do EHP CC setup. So we have Flame bot, we have Thunder bot, and we have bot. That's pretty much it for that. And what is our range? Let me go into a farming run to confirm setup. Okay, yep, should be minimum range, because we're not buying anything from the attack tab, so all right, I think we're ready to go in again. Let me know in the chat if you think I should use Thorn during the run. And we're gonna get started. Okay, let's see. Minus 24% Destify. Ah, I see. Today is Destify down. No wonder I wasn't getting much Viking funeral during the glass cannon run. That would have been even made it even easier. Um, Steve Broyle asked, DP not considered a kind of EHP cannon or shrink ray? I mean, EHP players sometimes do use DP and shrink ray, right? I use that myself, but for this particular setup, I'm doing it dissonant style, and I'm doing it like no module style of the opposite build. So when I did the glass cannon build, I used no armor modules. Therefore, when I do the EHP build now, I want to not use any armor modules. Plus, in the technical term, like death penalty and shrink ray are not really EHP, right? Like there's no really EHP cannon in existence right now. Luke said, with new tiers unlocked, I'm now positive that we will have another league in version 29. I hope they will not introduce new currency with it. Yeah, I think very likely. New tournament league in version 29. But new currency, I think, is also likely. We'll see. Fluffy says no Soren ones, then Sorens. DB Cooper said pure pacifist build, worse than attack Diesel. Yeah, although it's hard to do the pure pacifist build with my orbs. Because the boss would just get killed by the orbs, right? And it's not possible to move orbs all the way out when the range is this small. Like if my range is bigger, I would be able to move orbs out. But right now, like if boss is on the tower, they are going to get killed by the orbs, because the orbs can hit them when they're spinning on the wall. So it's pretty hard to do pacifist build. You have to devil all your orbs as well, which I didn't want to roll my orbs off of my SF and wormhole redirector, just because you know, those could be useful later on. But yeah, normally you would like roll off your orb and then do the pacifist build. But with orbs, like it's kind of hard if you have minimum range. If the range is higher, you can put the orbs out and then they won't matter, which is what I did before. But yeah, right now it's a bit hard. No Sorns, no orbs, just tank everything and get spawn cap. Yeah. I did some of that run before in my previous streams. So if you want to see that, you can go check that out. Yeah, but because this run is kind of attack dissonance, right? So like I'm not supposed to buy anything from the attack tab, so I cannot buy the range. So it's hard to do a pacifist build. If you want to see a pacifist build, I can do like maybe one more run after this one to show you guys. So when we did the glass cannon 0 EHP, nothing was basically a threat. Like fleet was not a problem at all. Like I was killed by boss. In fact, a lot of my energy shields were depleted by boss as well. Like overcharge and stuff. Just none of the fleets were a problem. Commander, Saboteur, overcharge, they were not a problem at all. So you know, by the point, like as a glass cannon tower, at the point where you're getting killed by boss, like yes, your run is supposed to end, right? Because like you no longer have enough damage to kill the boss. Like your run is supposed to end. Uh, so it just seems like nowadays after 28.3, the fleets are just overall super nerfed for glass cannon towers that they don't really matter. Like they don't really function as sort of a run stopper anymore. Like your run will be stopped by bosses in most cases, right? Which is where most glass cannon run is supposed to end if you're not able to kill the bosses fast enough. So the fleets are, as if they don't exist for glass cannon. They're like this nerfed for 28.3, in my opinion, based on my testing just now. And indeed, glass cannon doesn't really need to get EHP. It's not a necessity. I'm sure some EHP is going to be helpful because, some stats should always be better than no stat, right? But not required, not required. Let the aura farming begin. I agree. Luke asks, what other games you like to play? Well, I like to play sometimes some JRPGs, some action games. My favorite game is Elden Ring, actually. I also like, things like Skyrim, Oblivion. I like Oblivion remake better than Skyrim. Very occasionally, I play some fighting games. I don't really play first person shooter because I'm more of a turn-based tactical person, like strategizing person, not like a real time fast reaction person. I also really like card games, so I play Yu-Gi-Oh. I play online like Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel. I play Slay the Spire 2. Recently, I've been having a lot of fun with my friends in Slay the Spire 2 co-op. That game, playing by myself, I don't think is that fun, but co-op is fantastic. Love it. Yeah, and then there's a new SAO game coming out, like Echoes of Aincrad. I just finished the demo, looking forward to the full release, but yeah, that game seems pretty good. It's kind of a Dark Souls style game, but like animated, so like animated Elden Ring. But I don't think it has any co-op. Like Elden Ring, I played most of the game co-op with my friend, and that was a huge blast. That was super fun. But yeah, I do like SAO as a concept, and this one I think is more immersive and true to the original feel, because you play as your custom character, you don't play as like the main character like Kirito and folks, so you're not overpowered. And there's a hardcore mode. If you die, like your save file gets deleted. So I think that's what I'm gonna play. Let me know if anybody wants to watch some of my stream of that game on my channel, like hardcore mode, anime Elden Ring. DB Cooper says boss basic alt battle condition is the worst for bosses. Waves and waves of these stereo freaks rushing you. Yeah, I agree. This battle condition, I guess it's tough for both EHP and Glass Cannon, right? Because for Glass Cannon, as we can see, fast ultimate is still pretty bad, and then the combination of boss ultimate and basic ultimate makes things much harder. But then on the EHP side, the Thorn resistance is pretty bad for EHP in general. So I guess this battle condition, like nobody's happy. But 28.3 I would categorize as a huge buff to Glass Cannon, especially Glass Cannon no EHP. Now they have less reason to invest in EHP, so they can pour more resources into building more damage and all of that. So it's good. It's good. It's a huge buff for them, both in terms of the micro sense, like during a run, and the macro sense in terms of what they need to invest in the next few months. Let's see. Yeah, DB Cooper said, actually, Pawn Zero says, hey, morning, hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming. DB Cooper said, I think tournaments are actually going to be more boring with strategies to deal with fleets needed. Less need to time DM procs, etc. Yeah, on GC side of things, it's probably going to be more boring because none of the fleets actually matter to you right now. Like, you're just going to die to bosses as normal, as how, like, your farming run goes. right? None of the fleet matters because by the time like you run out of damage, you're gonna run out of damage to kill bosses, and die to that. Like before you will run out of damage to kill fleet. Because that's what it looked like in the GC run that I did just now. Let's see. Yeah, and Luke said I played Skyrim at least 7 times and never finished it. My one wish in my bucket list is actually to finish it. One day I will. Yeah. Yeah, I have not finished Oblivion because with those games I like to do all the quests and everything, and I get sidetracked a lot, so it's really hard for me to finish those games. All right. This is not a perfect pacifist build, but I guess we sort of have a pacifist build because it looks like a lot of things are running around the wall. And funny enough, they're pushing the overcharge like the overcharge is a toy, which is funny to see. But we have entered fleet range. And we're close to getting 1,000 waves. So, I mean, pure EHP can still do 1,000 waves, so I'm happy about that. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, I think that's good. Because I always tell our EHP players that the EHP baseline is 1,000 waves. Like the first 1,000 waves in tournament should be free for you if you build your EHP correctly to a certain point. Beyond that, it may require like good investment in like CC, additional investment in CC percent damage. If you want to go hybrid, you can invest a bit in damage, but just for pure EHP, you're no matter how bad the battle condition, your baseline is always 1,000. Like no matter how bad the battle condition, as an EHP player, you should always be able to hit 1,000 waves in the tournament. So 1,000 waves in Legend, that is. Okay, so it looks like we hit the EHP baseline. Very good, very good. I wonder when the overcharges are going to start to kill me, but we will see. So far, the wall health has not budged, so I guess that's a good sign. And we basically have a pacifist build with the help of Commander, because remember, nothing can actually die. So me having 0 Thorn is actually not relevant here. Because remember, nothing can basically die under a Commander, aside from, I guess, my orbs killing the bosses. But anything that's actually affected by the Commander can never die. And in 28.3, they not only moved fleet inside your tower range, but they also buffed the radius of Commander. So for EHP towers, this means the Commander is likely to cover a larger portion of the wall, or if previously you have the perfect range setup where the Commander does not touch the wall, well, now it will because the radius is bigger. So, remember to check your build, especially during farming, if that matters to you, if the Commander should not touch your wall. So, because now with the update, the radius is bigger and they will touch your wall. But yeah, I'm not sure why it was necessary to buff the radius of the Commander, because I felt like it was big enough. And now if it's bigger, it just means things are more likely to get inside the radius, which means something dangerous like buffed Ray, a buffed Scatter, a buffed Vampire has a higher chance of showing up. And again, this is mostly relevant to EHP tower, so I consider the bigger radius on Commander yet again a EHP nerf. Because in most cases, Glass Cannon is just going to vaporize the Commander. Like, it doesn't have a chance to buff too many things. It's just going to come in and die. And nowadays, because it also comes all the way inside the tower range, like, it's most likely just die while operating the tower if you have Chronofield Plus. And once it comes into the range, it's definitely not going to make it that long. So yeah, this is more, like, the bigger radius is more relevant for EHP towers. Alright, would you look at that? The beautiful ring of fast ultimates glitching the game, with a bunch of bosses getting bumped out of their way. Can't even enter the orbs due to how many fast ultimates there are. The bosses just getting bounced out. And just the clutter of all the fleets. So Saboteur, Overcharge, and Commander just swirling around the tower, getting pushed around. Funny enough, some of the fleets, like Overcharge, is actually getting pushed by the fast ultimate when the fast ultimate moves. We can, in fact, I think we can turn on a few levels of Shockwave just to see the funny effect. Oh dear. Oh, my game is lagging. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, my game did not like that. Oh dear. Yeah, so now every time the every time the shockwave pulses, now the game is gonna lag a little bit. And this is not the stream lagging, this is the actual game engine lagging. Because of how many physics it has to process. What's your defense absolute? My defense absolute is currently 66 billion. Pretty good, right? Pretty good defense absolute. So yeah, for those of you who wants to see a pacifist build, well, here's your pacifist build in version 28.3. I've done pacifist build before. If you want to take a look, I think it was my second stream, like Giga Tower Live 2. I think that was at the beginning of that was the pre 28.3 pacifist build, and this is the 28.3 pacifist build. It's definitely lagging the game a whole lot. I can't even count how many fleets are on my screen right now. Jesus. Looks like I have like almost 200 active enemies. But interest printing is looking pretty good. I mean, we're 1420. That's not too bad, right? Looks like the prior GC run at 2011 is gonna get us 5th place. That's pretty good. And remember, I didn't even do an actual GC setup. Like, that was not a real GC setup. That was the dissonance run. That was like the EHP dissonance run, but in tournament, right? So, like, if I were to do a actual series GC run, like, I'd probably do much better. So yeah, 5th place. Look at that. That's pretty good. No EHP. No need for EHP. You get 5th place easily with Glass Cannon. And fleets are irrelevant. No fleets are relevant for Glass Cannon Tower in 28.3. That's my, based on my testing earlier in the stream, my conclusion. Meta straight. Glitch the game to infinite waves. Yes. If you glitch the game enough, they cannot attack you. I don't think that's the case, but that would be funny. We just gotta glitch the game engine so nothing can actually hit you. That's not what's actually happening, by the way. But I think I'm actually tanking a whole bunch of stuff because I see my wall health is actually starting to go down. As we can see, it was like at 2 big Q and now it's at below 2 big Q, so it is definitely going down. But I just think it's funny. Also, my health is going down due to overheat mechanic because we're above wave 1500, so the overheat is starting to kick in. So yeah, we're gonna see a reduction of our health because of the overheat as well, so keep that in mind. Also, we see a whole bunch of commander just getting shot out from the center to all over the screen, and I think that's because they are actually, every time my shockwave happens, the fast ultimate gets pushed out, and in turn they push out the commander because their mass is also like buffed a lot by the commander. So so they're moving the commander. That's the fast ultimates are what's moving the commander. And excuse the lag, but again, this is not my stream lagging. This is the game engine lagging, so I can't help with that. Let's see. A Gistar says, I've done this before, but the lag is actually what will get your tower killed. Yeah, I believe that. Maybe we should slow down the game speed. Does that help? Let me see. Okay, it does help, so maybe we run at 3x. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. That's I guess that's better. Okay, so our wall broke. We do have some package health that's going to sustain us for a bit, but I think our second win is gonna pop off soon. Let's run at maybe 2x speed. Does that help? Even at 2x speed, you can see how many things are still twitching. So there's definitely something wrong here. Like the engine cannot handle the aura, guys. Too much aura for the game to handle. Alright, let's see if we can finish the intro sprint, alright? 1800, and then we'll put it back to the laggy 5x speed. Looks like the wall is gonna rebuild though. We're gonna get our wall back, very nice. Also, folks, so just as how I explained in my GC and no EHP run, when we think about like lifetime stone and stone investment, we have to think critically in terms of like what is actually being used and what is effective in a run, right? So I explained in my glass cannon run where I was using my damage and my crowd control and percent damage, and I spent about 90k in damage, 80k in crowd control and percent damage, so added together it's about like 170k stone. So that run before was worth 170,000 lifetime stones, okay? But this run, as you can see, like there's no CC to be had here. Like CC is not relevant right now. So that's second win, very good. So I guess we could turn on Thorn just to see what that looks like with Thorn. But I mean, Thorn is not going to do much because today has the Thorn reduction battle condition. But my tower has I've only spent like roughly 20,000 in EHP because there's not much things that are functionally EHP when it comes to things you can spend stone on. I wish there are more EHP stone sinks because I'm kind of like an EHP well, right? Like I want to actually spend more on EHP, but there's just not a lot of things to spend on for EHP for stone. So I counted like my tower is roughly 20,000 stones, and because my CC and percent damage in this case is not relevant when like the commander is on my wall, so the effective lifetime stone in this run right now you're watching is just 20k. Keep that in mind, right? So like we shouldn't think of it as like, oh, Giga has 260k lifetime stone and this is why he can do this. Well, yes, I have around 260k lifetime stones, but if we think critically, like what's actually relevant in this run right now is just the EHP portion, which is just 20,000 stones. The rest are like, you know, labs and stuff, but anybody could get that, and coins and workshop plus and, you know, things like that. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Aegis says, I don't know, it's looking like EHP and Hyper by extension is kind of dead. The only real reason to level EHP now is for attack dissonance, and you really don't need too much EHP investment to beat them. Yeah, to some degree I agree, because like higher tier, like tier 22 through 24, like EHP is completely irrelevant. Like the tier scaling for like enemy damage is just way too high, So like no amount of EHP currently available in the game allows you to tank anything tier 22 to 24, right? So like you might as well go in with a glass cannon in tier 22 and above. And then we just proved that in tournament, fleets are completely irrelevant for all the damage towers. So like, yeah, just you don't actually need any EHP if you're glass cannon. Let's see. Luke says you're 2 giga for version 28.3, at least for game engine. Yeah, too much aura for game engine. Sorry, TTG. Your game engine couldn't handle my aura. Okay, so it looks like we did finish intro sprint. Our second win unfortunately popped, but we did finish intro sprint, which it's still pretty good, I guess, for EHP, right? Like if we look at the ranking right now, so for EHP I'm at 1834. If we look at the ranking right now, that would place me at 8th place. Yeah, 8th place. So 8th place would be 8 keys. You could. So as pure EHP with no damage, I still think it's possible to get keys in Legend. So I wouldn't say EHP is fully dead. If anybody says like EHP is just fully not viable, fully dead, fully irrelevant in 28.3, well, they're wrong. But you know, if you want to move into like higher tiers, like tier 22 and above, or you want to compete in the range of like wave 3000 in Legend nowadays, I think EHP got shafted hard, and glass cannon is much more viable to compete at the higher end. But of course, like hybrid is also very good, very strong. We'll do a hybrid run after this one. We'll see the hybrid run, but yeah, hybrid run is going to be pretty strong. But glass cannon is also really, really strong, and the thing is, if fleets are just irrelevant for damage-based tower, why build hybrid though, right? Like you could just invest all your resource and your setup into more damage, but like you don't really need the hybrid portion. You can just full on glass cannon. You should be able to hit, above 3000 waves in Legend, if you're like a strong damage tower, right? So that's kind of the thing, like, cause I mean TTG for a while said like they want to encourage people to build every stat, and I think the dissonance run was a good direction. And when they first introduced fleet in like version 26, was a good direction because EHP needed to glass cannon needed to build some EHP to turn them into a little bit more hybrid, in order to defend against overcharge. But now, honestly, I'm not sure if there is a reason for glass cannon or damage focused players to ever build EHP after version 28.3. So that's my current conclusion, but we'll see how the game evolves. I mean, version 29 is going to come. Maybe they will fix their mistake. I certainly hope so, but we'll see how the game evolves. Aga said, oh, by the way, do you have a donation link? I'll send you a little something. Oh, thank you so much. Highly appreciate it. But it's okay. I don't have any donation stuff right now because my channel is not monetized. Because I just recently started live streaming. I used to only make video, but I never live streamed. So I don't have enough watch time on my channel to get it to monetize. And I don't think I have enough subscribers. So yeah, so we'll work on that. We'll get there eventually, but right now, yeah, I don't have, my channel is not monetized, so I don't really have anything like that. And I don't want to set up the, the other like donation route and whatnot. So we'll worry about those later. Yeah, I only recently started streaming the tower because I played the tower exclusively on my iPad, and for the longest time, like I didn't know if there was a way to stream from the iPad directly. But recently I found an app and I figured out how to stream from the iPad, and that's why I started streaming recently. But yeah, that's a more recent thing. So that's why like my channel does not have cumulatively does not have enough watch time. But I think that problem will get fixed once I start streaming more often. All right, so nuke popped. So it looks like we're gonna hit around 1900, right? Which honestly is not bad, given how much 20.3 kind of shafted EHP, right? So people shouldn't say, oh, EHP is dead in Legend in 20.3. I mean, we hear that like a million times by now, right? Every time there's a change that nerfs EHP, I mean, the nerfs are real, right? Like EHPs are getting shafted. But every time this happens, people say, oh, this is truly the end for EHP. Oh, EHP is truly dead. But it was never actually dead. So, so don't believe the propaganda that EHP is dead. EHP is wild and alive. Like you can do close to 2,000 waves on Legend using a EHP setup, like pure EHP setup, requires no investment in damage. And again, like just like how I did my glass cannon run, where my run is technically not real as a glass cannon, right? Because I did the dissonance style of glass cannon. This EHP run is also not real technically, because I'm basically like not buying anything from the attack tab, just like how you would do like the dissonance. But in reality, at least everyone has enough coins to like max everything out in the basic workshop for like the attack tab, which means you will have more attack speed, and then you can put on things like like Pulsar Harvester that reduces their damage and whatnot, and you have more CC that comes from like the range of your tower, or like the bounce shot, multi-shot, the knockback and all that, right? All that good stuff. So so this is not like a real EHP run, but just kind of show like if we had nothing in attack, just pure EHP, what that looks like. And it's still looking, we hit 1900, so EHP is definitely not dead. Like you can get to easy 2,000 waves with a proper EHP setup, and again, that will get you 5th place in this bracket, which is 10 keys, which is not bad at all, right? Like I would not call a build, I would not call a strategy that can get 10 keys in a bracket in Legend dead, anywhere close to dead, right? Let's see. DB Cooper said at waves 3,000, health goes to 0 anyway. Yep, that's correct. Aegistar, right now I'm running a maxed out damage reduction, maxed CL plus build. Nice. That's basically what I have. I love damage reduction. I have all the damage reduction sources. And my CL plus is max. So yeah, I think we're pretty similar. He said I'm still making 1/5 pretty consistently, 1 to 5 pretty consistently. Nice. The thing is that over time EHP will eventually be completely forced out as glass cannon players scale up. I think EHP is functionally dead now, or it's terminal. Yeah, I mean they haven't given EHP like any new tools really for like a few major versions now. Because like they gave us some damage and they gave us some HP in version 28, version 28 was a dissonance run, but we needed regen. We didn't really need HP, so it wasn't like super helpful. So yeah, like if they don't like, unless they keep buffing things like the existing damage reduction, or they give us like new EHP tools. And again, I'll be happy with like EHP stone things, like give us something to spend stones on for EHP. Like, but unless that happened, I would tend to agree that EHP is, close to a terminal state, unfortunately, while damage keeps scaling up. Let's see. DB Cooper, less of a nerf and more of a buff to GC. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's more of like a huge buff to glass cannon, which makes all the fleets irrelevant during a tournament run. But I think the nerf to EHP is more the fact that Sorn cannot kill Overcharge, and Commander, and Saboteur, right? Like Sorn cannot kill fleets. I think that is a pretty big nerf to EHP, honestly. Because like EHP used to have no problem with Saboteur, no problem with Overcharge, so you just kind of have to worry about Commanders. Because Overcharges would die to wall or the main tower in a few hits with Sorn. But now like I mean, if you have strong EHP build, like you probably fear the Overcharge more than Commander, which is funny. Which is really funny. Because like Commander is meant to be the enemy of EHP and Overcharge is meant to be the enemy of Glass Cannon. Like that's how I understood it when they first introduced the fleets back in version 26, right? But now Glass Cannon fears no fleet and Commander and EHP fears all fleets, right? So especially Overcharge is gonna it's gonna ramp up the damage very quickly if you don't have the CC to slow it down. and then it's gonna butcher. Doesn't matter how much EHP you have, it's gonna butcher it, right? So I think that's the nerf. That's the nerf on the HP, which I think is pretty significant. But then the buff on glass cannon is also pretty significant. Is my current conclusion. Let's see. Agastar said this time is different because of how commanders reduce stats permanently over time. Yeah, you're talking about tier 22 and above, where they have like commander ultimate, where they reduce stats permanently in the run. Yeah, that's pretty bad. If you're glass cannon, you kill the commanders before the pulse. I never believed EHP was dead before. Yeah, and that's a very good point. EHP is just can be used in like tier 22 and above because of commander ultimate. Because like for EHP, commander tends to stay like 10, sometimes 100 waves. And because of commander ultimate, like if the commander sits around this much, it's just gonna get rid of all of your stats, right? So you're gonna have like 0 HP very quickly. Versus a glass cannon is able to kill commander before it even pauses, or maybe pauses a few times, but definitely before it enters the tower range. So, that's a huge difference. Like for a glass cannon in tier 22 and above, the commander ultimate is not relevant. Saboteur is not relevant. Overcharge, probably not that relevant, honestly. Because the overcharge ultimate again is bad for EHP, but doesn't do much for glass cannon, because the ultimate bonus on the overcharge is on the scaling, so it just makes overcharge scale faster. But then if you kill overcharge before you even start shooting, like who cares, right? But like for an EHP tower, if you were to tank overcharge, then the scaling becomes crazy high, and then you can't tank it like after a few shots very quickly. But then again, I don't think you have enough EHP to tank like any shots in the current high tiers, the new tiers. So probably doesn't even matter. You just have to kill it quickly. Let's see. Version 29 will be all about defense absolute. I'm sure about it. Oh, yeah. I'm ready. As we can see, my ancestral 100% defense absolute substats, 2 of them. I'm ready. I've always been ready. I did not roll these like recently. I've always had these. Let's see. EHP still works farming though. It's just not going to be competitive in Legends for very much longer. Yeah, but farming, I'm hearing reports of like, EHP players farming pure EHP, seeing significant, sometimes like thousands of wave losses. And I've also seen reports of reduced coins per hour. And this is mostly because the commanders, right? So typically when you do EHP farm, a lot of players rely on pushing commander to the wall with a minimum range setup for EHP farm. And you push the commander to the wall and then use the war Soren to kill the commander very quickly. Also like overcharge shows up and it dies to the Soren very quickly. But nowadays in 28.3 during farming, the commander is not going to die on the wall, right? So they stay along for much longer. And when the commander is around, you're not really killing any enemy. And so during that period of time, you're basically getting very little, coins. So you're going to take a coin income dip. And then overcharge may actually kill you during a farming run prematurely. So that's where like those thousands of wave loss being reported, come from for EHP players. So I do think EHP players are taking a pretty big hit because of the Soren on fleet changes for both farming and tournament. Is it dead? Well, as you can see, you can tell me if it's dead, but I don't think it's dead. It's not yet. It's not dead yet. But yeah, I think getting a little bit of damage is advisable, right? Is advisable. Because right now it's just very tough for handling fleets in the high end as pure EHP. So just that little bit of damage, and you can combine that with like good percent damage sources to kind of whittle the enemies down, so that just a little bit of damage can execute the enemies. I'm thinking, using maybe Poison Swarm that scales well with the concept of enemies staying around your tower for a long time, right? So I think, Poison Swarm seems to be a good idea in this case, just for that little bit of damage that scales up over time as you tank the enemies. To just land the finishing blow after you whittle down the enemy's health with your whatever sword is remaining and with the OA. I think that would be the play for me. That's what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to do a bit of like EHP plus Poison Swarm hybrid. So that's the plan. I don't think I'll be farming tier 22 to tier 24 anytime soon, but yeah, if I need shards, nowadays I just go farm tier 21. It's plenty of shards from tier 21, honestly. Like, you can see like how many reroll shards I have. I have over 100 million reroll shards that I don't need to use right now. And that's all from farming tier 21. Because like tier 21 gives you a lot of shards. So yeah, so I'm good on reroll shards for a while. But yeah, like if I want shards, I just go farm tier 21 hybrid. If I want coins, I just go farm tier 18 EHP coin farming. I think my coin farming tier 18 is gonna take a hit, but we'll see. I'll report back in a few days after a few runs to see like what's the actual coin hit. I don't think it's too much. I think there will be a coin hit, but I don't think it's gonna be too much. But we'll see. The milestone stones for tier 22 to 24 were nice. Oh, nice. How much were those? Are those like a few hundreds or like 1,000? Also, guys, is my pure EHP setup actually beating our pure glass cannon setup? Because looks like we got more waves. And again, my this is not because Giga has 260,000 lifetime stones. My effective lifetime stones that I'm using right now in this run is just around 20k. Just for everyone's knowledge, right? Because like I'm not using damage, I'm not using any of my econ right now, I'm not using percent damage, I'm not using any of my crowd control. Like, I'm just tanking everything, like everything is on the wall, so like crowd control is basically not there. So keep that in mind, like around 20k effective lifetime stones. Okay, so this commander is probably gonna kill me. That's gonna be my guess. Okay, Aegis says, yeah, I went ahead and finished all the masteries for damage and gold box the damage sub mods. Very nice. The biggest issue is just dealing with the massive amount of stone deficiencies my build has since it's not tuned well for glass cannon yet. Yeah, honestly, I would say like on the damage side, the stone efficiency is just overall pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, like the new levels they added, right? Like in 28.3, like those are expensive and they don't really give you that much of a boost. Yeah. Are you using Max CL Plus for this run? I missed the beginning. Yeah, I'm using Max CL Plus. Yes. But I'm pretty sure I can turn that off and it doesn't matter. Let's see. I'm somehow getting a bunch of DDs to keep my run going. That's pretty good. That means you're lucky, because today we have the anti-DD battle condition. I swear my last 100 waves here are all due to DDs. Wow, that's pretty good. You got lucky on the Viking funeral. Okay, so we officially beat our GC setup, which is surprising to me. Yeah, but then again, like glass cannon got a huge buff compared to before. Huge. Like 28.3, huge buff for glass cannon. And again, I would say pretty significant nerf for EHP in terms of fleet. EHP actually gets a buff early to mid game, right? Because of the primordial collapse. Like if you can get the primordial collapse module early game, like that will benefit you. But late game, when you start to see fleet and when you start to farm from like tier 16 plus as EHP, not having a good day. Not having a good day after you update to version 28.3. All right, so somebody actually passed us, because we were like 2022 waves for glass cannon. Somebody passed us, and now our EHP build beat our glass cannon build, so we're actually back to 5th place. Let's see if this person passed us again, but I thought that was pretty cool. I think in order to pass any of the other folks, like to get into 4th place, I'll have to whip out my actual like hybrid build, but yeah, but that can wait. Let's first see how long this EHP build takes us. And again, this is pure EHP. Nothing is in the attack tab. Like this is attack attack dissonance run in a tournament. And we're not even using the cannons. No cannon, as we can see. So again, I don't want anybody to say EHP is dead. It's not dead if you can get 10 keys, okay? Just let's be clear. But it is reaching its terminal state if the game keeps nerfing EHP and keep disregarding EHP when it comes with like these new changes and things like that. So I would say the Princey buff is nice, it's decent. I mean, it's a 50% damage reduction going from 80% to 90%, but that's like the only line item that matters to EHP. Aside from that, like it's huge nerf to EHP, huge buff to glass cannon. And I would say like overall for 28.3, I would say the overall nerf to EHP, especially on the high end, outweighs significantly the buff that we're getting with Princey. Like I would trade the Princey buff with Soren can kill overcharge any time of the day, right? Yeah, James Rush, some labs of the DD reduction lab helped a lot apparently. Yeah, very good. I have not James Rushed those things yet. I'll get to those eventually. Okay, so for those of you who joined recently, during the stream recently, tonight we're doing a exciting version 28.3 special stream of EHP versus glass cannon. So earlier in the stream, I did a glass cannon run, pure glass cannon. So we equipped no armor modules and we bought nothing in the workshop for the defense tab. So we ran it like a EHP disco, and we got to about 2,000 waves. And this time, we're setting up our pure EHP run with no cannon modules equipped and nothing bought from the attack tab. And we actually beat the glass cannon side by like about 100 waves, which is surprising. Still going. But overall, the conclusion is that on the glass cannon side, there's basically no real reason to invest in EHP whatsoever because fleets are irrelevant because I got killed by boss. Like all the energy shield were depleted by the boss and I was killed by the boss. Like before I ran out of damage to kill boss, I always had enough damage to kill overcharge before they like make their way too deep into the tower. So yeah, no fleets are relevant for glass cannon towers. Keep that in mind. That was the conclusion of the second half. I mean the first half. And right now, as we can see, some cool stuff is happening with essentially a pacifist situation where nothing is dying because the commander's right on top of the wall and yeah, things can die when the commander is around. And because we do have Thorns, but because fleets don't die to Thorns anymore, so we don't see any of them dying. We don't see any commanders dying. We don't see any overcharge dying. We don't see any saboteurs dying. Okay, well, our health is going down a lot now, so I guess the run is about to end. All right, the run ended, but that was not bad at all. 2,000 waves as pure EHP. And again, this is not real EHP because like normally you would equip some cannon and you would have at least the basic workshop maxed out in the attack tab, right? So yeah, this is not real EHP. This is just EHP for fun. But like EHP for fun did 2,100 waves. Okay, so EHP is not dead, but I do think that that's a huge nerf for EHP. But surprisingly, we did do like 100 extra waves on the EHP side compared to the glass cannon no EHP side. So that's surprising. But then again, like, you know, my tower is now like super strong with damage. Like I can easily spend 200k more. I've only spent around like 90,000 stones in my damage stuff. So you know, you could spend easily a lot more on damage side. All right, so we're in 5th place. In order to get 4th place and above, which is typically what I shoot for in a bracket, we would have to do our actual. We have to whip out our actual hybrid setup. But this battle condition is pretty tough, so I honestly don't know how far a hybrid setup could take us, but we will give it our best. So with our hybrid setup, we will put our bot in the hybrid slot. And then we'll just go to the hybrid tournament tab. Very convenient. I think we can use wave skip. And then we have to set up the modules properly. Let's see. Let's put on project founding, SH. And then we just use primordial collapse with dimension core for the hybrid. And then we're gonna use ACP assist with OA primary. So let's give that setup a shot. And okay, we'll set our range all the way up because I like big range. I'm Giga. Giga is about big and bigger, big everything, okay? Big range, big black hole, big poison swamp, big everything. So we gotta go big. I think that's the setup that we wanna go with. Everything looks nice. Okay, flame bot, M bot, bot, okay. All right, let me go into a farming run to confirm the setup. We will adjust the orbs. Typically how I like it is something like this, but yeah, something like this. I think it's fine. Okay, all the ultimate weapons are on. Okay, this looks fine to me, so we'll go into the actual run. All right, so that's our, very simply, that's our hybrid setup that we use pretty often. And let's see how many waves we can get with this. And of course, you know, from both sides of EHP and CC, like if you're like EHP and you buy more damage, like your tower does better, right? Like it's supposed to do better because you spend more resource and whatnot. And on the glass cannon side, like, yeah, if you build more EHP, your tower is supposed to get better. The only thing nowadays is that because fleets are just completely irrelevant for glass cannon towers, I wonder if it's a better use of your resource. Instead of buying EHP, you just buy more damage, right? Because apparently damage solves everything now. We're back to damage solves everything. So you just buy more damage and, you know, maybe that's better. So while getting EHP as a glass cannon can help you, but I think maybe you're just better off buying more damage. DB Cooper said, done, boss got me. Yeah, so DB Cooper is a very strong player in first place right now, whatever guy. I'm probably not beating DB Cooper today, but DB Cooper says that boss got him, but that's exactly what I mean. Because, you know, back in the day, it's usually the overcharge that gets the damage lean player, right? Like, regardless if you're a glass cannon or you're like a damage focused hybrid, if your tower is mostly damage, usually an overcharge gets you. And now you can see like even DB Cooper, like a really strong damage based, I guess, hybrid tower, he got killed by boss. Think about that, right? Which is the same what I saw in my glass cannon side run at the beginning of the stream. Like I got killed by a boss, which means like fleets are just straight up irrelevant. Because by the time, like as a damage tower, by the time you don't have enough damage to kill the boss, yeah, you're supposed to die. Like so, but that just means fleets not in the picture anymore for damage based towers. Irrelevant. But yeah, I do think they over nerfed fleets for damage. Yeah. That's exactly my hybrid build, Aegis Star. Yeah. Let's see. It's almost like they gave us these boss ultimates to tell us to just get more damage. Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes it more obvious, right? But regardless of battle condition, I think if fleets are not relevant to you, because there's no fleet battle condition in Legend yet. Maybe they will add more fleet battle condition in the next tier up, which would actually require EHP to build more damage for sure, because that would be a bigger nerf to EHP in tournament if they do that in the next tier. So honestly, I hope that does not happen, but you know, it's potentially gonna happen. Yeah, and DB Cooper said, yeah, OC was nothing. See, folks, exactly as we said. Fleets are irrelevant. OCs are nothing to damage towers. That's where we are at. That's where we are at for 28.3. So fleets are like weaker than bosses, because glass cannon towers and damage leading hybrid get killed by boss and not overcharge. So, but if fleets are weaker than bosses, like why do they even exist? I guess they exist to kill EHP towers. Yeah, so that's where we are right now, unfortunately. Zolf said, so at the start of the stream, I was asking if I should max my armor assist before buying the last 3 weapons to unlock Weapon Plus. I was thinking to get all weapons first now, just to get the Swamp Plus. Yeah, if you're going with like a EHP hybrid build with Swamp setup, yeah, you can get the Swamp Plus first. Yeah, because like getting some damage, I think is going to be good for most EHP players at the high end. I would say mid to, like early to mid tier, like you probably still don't need to get damage as EHP. Even like, you know, like a first 1,500 waves as Legend, you probably still don't need to get damage. I mean, like, I got to wave 2,100 with just EHP with no damage, right? So like it's still doable. But if you want to get higher, if you want to farm higher tiers, if you want to compete with people like, you know, in the wave 3,000 range in the Legend, then yeah, you need to get damage. Let's see. Aegistar said, yeah, I died to a boss tonight at wave 2,698, which hasn't happened in a while. I bet everything their next step is adding these new fleet ults to Legends. Well, see, then like what would be the purpose, right? Because if they say, oh, we over nerf fleets in 28.3, like damage towers are too strong now in tournaments, like fleets are now stopping them. So like we're gonna add these fleet ultimate, like ultimate commander, ultimate overcharge to buff the fleets again. That to me is honestly like a I don't want to insult anybody, but like that would not be good game design, right? Let's put it this way. That would not be good game design. Because see, like those ultimate fleet battle conditions don't impact damage based tower. they only matter when the fleet stays on the screen for a long time, which means they only matter for EHP side of things. Right? So if fleets are irrelevant for damage tower right now, they're going to continue to be irrelevant even if they add the Commander ultimate, the Saboteur ultimate, the Overcharge ultimate. The only ones are going to suffer are the EHP based towers if they add those. So yeah, hopefully they make the right choice. So TTG, if you're watching my stream, that's something you got to think about. Let's see. The one thing OC does is strip energy shield if the wall is down. Yes, but today the OCs are able to strip some energy shield because they can actually get into the tower range. You are assuming without fast ultimate overcharge can still get into the tower range, which I honestly think is unlikely. I think now that they move so slow, because we haven't seen an overcharge move at 1/5 speed yet, because we have fast ultimate tonight, right? But without fast ultimate, they're moving 1/5 of a basic enemy speed, which means they're slower than the slowest enemies, right? So like if you have Chronofield Plus, they're gonna orbit your tower outside of your tower range for a long time. And then your bounce shot is gonna get to it, your chain lightning is gonna get to it, your poison swamp is gonna get to it, right? And so very likely it's gonna die before it enters the tower range. So it's not even gonna pop any energy shield for that matter. At best, it's gonna pop your wall, and then your wall is just gonna rebuild very quickly, and like nothing happened. Let's see. Zoffer said my current defense percent is 84% right now. Still need defense mastery as well. Yeah. Defense mastery takes a long time, so I recommend just kind of leaving that on forever. But yeah, eventually your wall will get to 90. Your tower will not will eventually get to 98% in tournament, which is pretty nice. Which is what I have. Let's see. Aegistar says, "Yep, some guys is watching you right now, thinking to himself, damn, not enough." What do you mean not enough? Not enough nerf to fleets for glass cannon? They add the fleet alls and they will only affect EHP. Yeah, the fleet alls honestly only affect EHP. Like all 3 fleet alts only affect EHP. Think about that. Think about that for a second. It's very funny. But it's okay. EHP is still alive for now. And you can still get to 2,000 waves in Legend with just pure EHP, even with like a pacifist build, like without killing anything. So I think you're fine if you're an EHP player. But yeah, if you want to go higher, you got to deal some damage. It's not going to be consistent at above wave 2,000. But yeah, I do have a hybrid tower, so my plan is to combine EHP with Poison Swamp because I don't like meta. If you're my subscriber, if you're on our the Tower Sanctuary Discord, you know my deal. I don't like meta. I don't like to do the same thing other people do because there's no point in gaming if you game the same way like the other 100 people next to you do, right? You gotta kind of find your own path, do your own thing, right? So I, in pretty much all of the games I play, I tend to play off meta, counter meta, all that, and it's pretty fun for me. So even if I build hybrid, like I'm not gonna like go like heavy into chain lightning. My plan is to, because most people say like, oh, Poison Swamp sucks because Poison Swamp ticks too slow. Like you need that instant burst to kill things. Well, yes, if you have nothing to tank anything with, you do need the. Also, if you don't have a lot of CC to have things like spin around your tower for a bunch, yes, you do need to instant burst and kill things quickly. In which case, like inner landmine, chain lightning is better, right? But if we're talking about combining EHP with like the hyper side of things, like Poison Swamp honestly fits the EHP playstyle the most when it comes to getting to hybrid. Because we are able to take it slow, right? So like, we're able to tank stuff, so Overcharge should be able to sit on our screen for, I don't know, like 20 waves, 30 waves. We're able to tank it. So if we're tanking stuff, might as well let the poison like ramp up, and so that reduces the amount of damage stone spending we need to do, because we can just let the damage ramp up, and eventually it'll be like 2x, 4x, 5x, 10x, right? 20x, 50x. So yeah, if we're able to tank stuff and let things ramp up, Poison Swamp I think is a perfect fit. It's also a really good fit for CCs, right? Crowd controls. Because in tier 22 and 24, right now, like I said, I don't think any EHP is relevant, but CC is still relevant, and maybe I can find a way to do like basically CC by use Poison Swamp, right, to damage stuff, so that things like Overcharge, they would swing around my tower, outside of my tower range, for long enough because of how strong my CC is, and then they're just gonna get killed by my Poison Swamp, right? Something like that. So that's the plan. Aegis said, nice you run PS2. Yeah, my secondary damage is PS, 4 swamps, 4 levels in PS Plus, though it doesn't feel like it actually does anything. Yeah, I run Swamp because currently I run Swamp for mostly CC, but I do have damage on Swamp as well. I have 4 permanent Swamp, and I actually have 1,000 times Swamp damage, so it's decently developed, and I have 7 levels in Death Creep. So that's pretty good. I plan to max everything out that's related to Swamp. It needs to be fully go boxed, and then we'll see how far I can take it. But I'm probably not putting any more stones into Chain Lightning because I don't want to do the meta build. Zolfer said, I was looking at Swamp the other day as well because it infinitely scales. Smart Missiles also kind of does. How do you feel about using Smart Missiles instead of Swamp for finishing stuff off? Yeah, eventually I plan to invest in Smart Missile as well. Yeah, because I think the way Smart Missile Plus works, I don't have the Plus unlocked, but I think that the way that works is if you keep hitting the same thing with a bunch of Smart Missiles, it also infinitely scales, right? So, yeah, I think those are pretty good. So guys, by the way, a heads up. So version 28.3, because fleets are irrelevant now for glass cannon players, I suspect that potentially infinite runs in tournaments could be back. I think sooner or later somebody's gonna figure that out. Because even with the overheat and whatnot, you have infinite scaling damage, right? You have especially inner landmine, because you can stockpile a bunch of inner landmine time, and like as long as they exist on your tower, the damage infinitely ticks up. So maybe that's enough to kill some of the overcharge even at like really, really high wave. So I guess it's probably, I don't think it's like true infinite, but like really absurd high waves, like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 waves in Legend might be possible again now that fleets are irrelevant, because fleets used to be the showstopper for infinite runs, right? It's like a major stopping force against infinite runs. And some people in the main Discord said, oh, the recent 28.3 changes, it nerfed percent damage, and people don't like percent damage because people don't like infinite runs, so they preemptively nerf percent damage to make sure that infinite runs can't happen. Maybe there's some truth to that, but this is the irony. By nerfing the fleet so much for for damage towers, now the infinite runs could actually be back. Because if the only thing that kills you is boss, well, I have ways to deal with boss, like indefinitely, right? So boss is actually not a problem. So given that like bosses can be dealt with indefinitely, and then you're also not worried about any fleets, doesn't that scream infinite runs are back, right? So be on the lookout, guys. I do think infinite runs are back because of how nerfed the fleets are nowadays for damage-based towers. But you have to have a pretty strong like inner landmine plus setup in order to do the infinite damage scale up to kill fleets like beyond, let's say, wave 4,000. But I think somebody could probably get to wave 5,000 with damage-based tower. That would be my guess, right? We haven't seen that, but now fleets are so nerfed that they no longer function as kind of a run stopper for damage-based towers. Zover said missile amplifier is a lab that I think lets smart missile stack over and over. I don't think you even need the weapon plus for it. Oh, I see. Then in that case, I have it. I actually have the missile amplifier lab. I actually have all the smart missile labs done already. One, because they're all pretty short, and two, I am planning on investing smart missile down the road. Once I finish poison swamp. So okay, that's good to know. So I don't need the plus, but I will unlock the plus though, because I think the plus probably does help. Plus, I just want to unlock all the plus, because right now I'm missing 2 plus. I'm missing the inner landmine plus, and I'm missing the smart missile plus. So, but inner landmine seems to be becoming meta as well. So that means, as an off meta person, I'm not gonna invest too much in inner landmine. right now, I just have the quantity and whatnot. Like I don't have the damage, so I probably will put off investing inner landmine damage for a while. And focus more on poison swamp and smart missile and see where that takes me. But my EHP stuff is pretty much like all maxed out. Like there's very little thing I can actually buy anymore with EHP. I guess the only thing I can like meaningfully boost with EHP other than like module level is the multiplier efficiency, right? Like I'm at 50%, which means I can double my EHP by getting that to 100%. Same thing with my cannon multiplier efficiency and core multiplier efficiency. But yeah, for EHP, like that's pretty much the only thing that's stone-wise that I can buy. Everything else about EHP, including like all the health and all the damage reduction, is pretty much maxed out for me. But module levels late game does help a lot in terms of raw stats. A lot of your raw stats are just gonna come from module levels. So I suppose we got a lot of rooms there from the module levels as well. But again, those are just HP, right? Those are not regen, so we're still gonna have to like rely on things like package health, which is a forced move, because we never got any bonus to regen. But yeah. DB Cooper said, do you plan to work on Gen SE? ELS stuff helps. Yes, ELS stuff helps in farming run still. Not very helpful in tournaments, but yeah, it helps in farming runs. I do plan on doing that, but I'll probably do that at the end. Because I have 100% efficiency, core armor, cannon. But next I'll probably work on the multiplier efficiency, get those to 100%. And then after that, yeah, I'll do the substat efficiency for generator. Yeah, next for me is likely going back to working on econ a bit, get the generator multiplier efficiency to 100%. That's likely on the menu for me. My econ nowadays is pretty good at I get like about 10 big Q per hour, which is pretty good. And I was doing a tier 18 EHP farm. I think after 28.3, my coin is going to drop a bit. Hopefully it doesn't drop too much, but I don't expect it to drop too much. So I should still be getting like at least a few big Q an hour, which is good. And then I finish my multiplier efficiency, and that should get me back to around 10 big Q an hour, if not more. So we should be okay in terms of econ. Yeah, lack of a gold box there is really annoying to me. Yeah, it will happen eventually, don't worry. Zofar said, just started my legend tournament. My damage is so bad. I hit a boss with 150 chain lightning for 0% damage and 1400 projectiles for 0.1% damage. Yeah. If you're not a damage tower, I mean, that's what you'll be looking at. It's a very normal. Yeah, as EHP towers, I think we can still run. It's not we're not immediately dead, but I do recommend getting some damage over time. But I think the sad part is, nowadays I think glass cannon towers don't really have to get EHP, but EHP towers have to get some damage. So like investment wise, like glass cannon tower can just keep investing everything into damage, and it will solve all your problems. And fleets aren't even relevant for damage based towers. So like investment wise, I think damage focused towers has a better macro game at investment. But this is going to late game though, right? We have to keep that in mind that this is like late to end game, early to mid game, and even like early mid game, early late game. The investment efficiency win is still on the EHP side, because like I said, like I showed in my stream, when I did the glass cannon run, that run was worth 170,000 stones. But when I did the EHP run, that run was only worth like about 20,000 stones. So 20,000 versus 170,000. So that's like almost 8 times, right? 8 to 9 times difference of stone invested. So like EHP is still like pretty cheap. Like it's like for free to play, it's very free to play friendly. It's a good choice. It's very good ROI in terms of like stone invested versus the amount of mileage you get out of there. Like it's still really, really good. So I don't think it's right to like say EHP is dead, or say like recommend people to just never invest in EHP, because I think it's still, you know, a very good ROI investment. It's just eventually you will have to invest in damage. But the damage players never need to invest in EHP. So like at the high end, like at the high end, eventually the damage players will out invest you, right? Because you don't have anything to invest in EHP beyond 20,000 stones. Like there's literally nothing to buy in the game. But damage you can just keep piling on and on and on with stones. Like you can easily add like 200k, 300k stones with on just damage stuff, right? So yeah, eventually damage players will all invest EHP players, but that happens like way low, like way late game. That most players probably don't need to worry about that. So even though in 28.3, Glass Cannon got a huge buff, EHP got a pretty big nerf, I would still think that, you know, if like early to mid game player asks for advice on, hey, should I try EHP or Glass Cannon, I don't think it's right to say like EHP is dead, you should just do damage. You can do damage, but like EHP is still a pretty good path to getting you into legend, you know, letting you get keys in legend with low amount of stones. So if you're free to play, etc., it's really good for you. DB Cooper said the EHP masteries are still necessary for disso runs. Yes, if you want to do disso runs, yes. But and this is a big but. I don't think right now we can do attack dissol. I think after 28.3, attack dissonance runs got a lot harder. So that's gonna be a problem. So far said, I'm free to play is why I'm on the fence so much about what to invest in first. Weapons are so expensive. Yeah. Honestly, if you're free to play, I would say still go EHP route. Like EHP is just such good ROI, so much cheaper to get into Legend and start earning stones and start earning keys. Like might as well just use the low ROI option, earn those keys, earn those stones, and then once you're like pretty much like you unlocked most of the things you want to unlock with keys, then you start investing in damage and start building up your tower more and trying to compete in the higher end, right? I think that's fine. Aegis said, yeah, it feels like a ripoff on stones. You're making a good point though. EHP is still cheap now. Yeah, I think that's true. DB Cooper said, I cringed biting the bullet to get stuff like Second Wing Mastery. Yeah, Second Wing Mastery, I mean, yeah, it's useful in dissonance runs. But again, I have not tried attack dissonance run in 28.3 yet. We'll have to see. I just think that in most tiers where fleet do spawn, attack dissonance runs are just gonna be horrible. Like really, really hard to do because you have like no damage, right? So instead, like unless you have like really big bonus on like inner landmine plus, you probably just not gonna. You have no damage in attack dissol, right? And now there's no way for you to kill the fleet if you have no damage. Because we used to be able to push commander to the wall, use wall thorn, we tank the overcharge, we kill it with thorn. Well, now we can't. So what do we do in attack dissol? Well, nothing. We can't. So can't do that. But it's only during the tiers that fleet spawn. So all the tiers without fleets, or like the 14, 15, 16 should still be okay because like you could just nuke the fleet or second win the fleet when it comes. But like tier 17, tier 18 attack dissonance run, I think it's gonna be a real struggle. Good thing I already finished my tier 18 and almost tier 19 attack dissonance runs. So that's good. I don't think I can finish tier 18 attack dissonance run in 28.3. So I'm glad I did it before. I'm just wondering if let's see. I do think there is a similar effective GC pass that beginners could follow that could be cheap and get them to legends with a small EHP investment for distance. Yeah, potentially. I mean, the tower I think is most fun in terms of playing the tower when there's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of experimentation, there's a lot of different pathing, right? So I'm sure somebody is gonna figure out like a cheap glass cannon pass to get them to legend. I don't know if that's gonna be as cheap as EHP in terms of stone cost, but somebody's bound to experiment and try. So I think that's gonna be fun. I'm just wondering if 10 years from now I'll look back at the EHP investment and fight to remember why I even spent money on it. I certainly hope not, right? Because if there's no reason for EHP to exist in the game, like why put it in the game? Like you should just take it out of the game. And then I probably would have never like downloaded or like got into the game, because one of the reasons why I got into the game after I downloaded it was because on day one I was able to click Thorn and I was able to click Defense Absolute. And I didn't even like join any Discord server or like chat online at all for like the first year of playing my tower. I'm just doing my own thing, and on and off, and I only do like farming runs like overnight or once or twice a day, maybe once or twice a week. Like I was not playing seriously at all for a very long time. And so I just tried all the different strategies myself. But yeah, like day one, what got me into the tower is I sensed that there was something unique about the tower. Because most tower defense games is very, generic. Like enemies come, you shoot at them, they die, you go to the next wave, right? But I got into this game and I saw I can defend my tower without shooting at the enemy by just using like defensive stuff and like using Sorn to kill them. Then I was hooked and I started playing, right? And then I got deep into it. So yeah, like if EHP isn't gonna be a thing, like just take that out of the game. But then, that's like a huge rug pull because like I would not be playing this game if not EHP was not viable. So yeah. Zoffer says second wind is amazing. As soon as I bought it, I was able to clear tier 18, wave 300, and then I unlocked assist right after. Yeah, second wind is pretty good. Aegistar said, yep, same. If I knew the build paths were so similar and the destination is the same for everyone in the end, I wouldn't have started playing the game. I'm a tank player in all my other games, and I love playing off meta. See, you speak my language. Are you in our Discord? If you're not in our Discord, you gotta join our Discord because our Discord is about off meta, and there are a lot of like-minded people. And our Discord is technically not like a pure EHP server. Like it does have a lot of EHP player, but we do have players from all over the place, from like Glass Cannon, Hybrid, off meta Glass Cannon. Like we have the Death Wave God, the God of Death Wave in our server, right? He has all the Death Wave stuff go boxed. Doing pretty well. And yeah, so our server has all kinds of different players, but our vision is, it's a sanctuary for people who play off meta, because oftentimes you go to the main Discord and you say, I want to invest in Poison Swamp, people are going to look at you funny. So you come to our Discord, our moderator team guarantees that does not happen. If we see that, we give them a warning, we give them a timeout, and sometimes we kick them out, we ban them. Like we don't want players who are like, there is only one way to play, or like there is one path to follow in our Discord. So that's how we set up our Discord. So you should definitely check out our Discord if you're not already in our Discord. The invitation link is on the top right of your screen. Also, I think you can find it in the video description of any of my videos. So just give that a try. But yeah, I guess we're both tank players in MMOs. I enjoy tanking. We're the tanking folks. Because I usually play tanks in MMOs. Even Elden Ring, when I play with my friends, I'm the guy with like a giant shield, like the stone shield, in front of my friends, just trying to take some hits when my friends like shoot some magics and some weak shenanigans at the enemy. No, they're very cool. They're very strong. We all do very well. We all kind of do our own stuff. Like we pull our weight during our co-op runs. That's why our Elden Ring co-op runs are the best. It's very, very fun. But yeah, I'm usually the guy, the tanking guy. Okay, DB Cooper, you're going to bed. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for hanging out. We'll chat later. If you're not in our Discord, maybe you should join our Discord as well, and we can chat more on the Discord. Where is your music? There was some issue with noise canceling and whatnot, so I'll have to tune my music a little bit more later for the next stream. So for now, I just turned off the music altogether, and I will entertain you with my voice. But if you want to listen to some music, my playlist is here. This is on my YouTube channel. This is my tower playlist with all the songs I made for the tower. So this is what I typically play in my stream anyway, so you can just open that on the side and you'll have your music back. It's a good workaround. Aegistar said, yes, it started for me with this brutal MMO called Final Fantasy XI. Yeah, I played that for a little bit. Tanking that game was incredibly intense. I played Paladin and Ninja tanks. Nice. Ninja tanks are cool. I found myself playing off-meta tanks in Overwatch. straight carrying my teams in Overwatch. Very nice, very nice. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 11. I played Final Fantasy 14 pretty intensely when it came out. I was a warrior tank because I didn't want to do Paladin because Paladin was kind of the more meta tank. So I did like the off meta warrior tank, and I did a lot of raid. I think back in the day, like the first big raid was like the tower. So I did the tower raid as the main tank for my guild as a warrior tank, which I thought was pretty cool. And my healer really liked me because like I have a lot of like life steal and like self heal. So like my healer barely needed to press any button. They just kind of sit there and only press a button when things get like really shitty. Otherwise, they just sit there. They don't have to do anything. They just sip some Coke and pop some popcorns and just watch me tank. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I also play WoW. I play tanks in WoW. That was pretty fun. I like Paladin tanks in WoW because it's really good AoE tanking. Like Paladin AoE tank can do the AoE tank that, like especially early on, that warriors tends to struggle. Because early on warriors is a big challenge for them when there's multiple mobs, but Paladin just does it so easily. But yeah, it's pretty fun days. Nowadays I don't really have time to play MMOs, but maybe if there's a more casual MMO, I can try it out one day. Steve said, it's funny, I hated tanking WoW for like 2 decades, then one day I turned 30 and all of a sudden tanking was fun. Yeah, I mean, turning 30 is about, you have a lot more responsibility in your life at that point. And tanking is about responsibility, and oftentimes you're the raid leader or the group leader, so you have to lead your group, you have to kind of take care of everyone, you're like the big brother, right? So yeah, I agree. As you get older, tanking becomes more fun because tanking is about responsibility. Dark Souls, yeah, I love Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and I played Elden Ring, and I played Night Rain as well with my friends. Yeah, I'm a big From Software game fan. Yeah, I think in general, like people who like tanking, right? Enjoy having responsibility, or I guess are okay having responsibility. Like okay, be a little bit more stressed compared to the person next to you. Just so you could kind of keep the group together, keep the morale high, making sure that the team knows what they're doing, go for the win condition, make sure that the team has the right vision, has the right goal, is pushing in the right direction, right? I think those are some general traits of people who like tanking, in my opinion. And so similarly, in the Tower Sanctuary, we have the Holy Council of EHP, and I'm a member of the Holy Council of EHP. And I pride myself with the responsibility of just kind of so my role is I want to show the world what is possible, right? Especially when it comes with EHP, when it comes to EHP, I want to show what is possible. That is my role. That is my responsibility, right? So when people say, EHP is not viable in Legend, we say, who decided that? When people say EHP cannot get keys, we say, who decided that? When people say EHP is dead after 28.3, I say, who decided that? Right? So, my job is to just show people what is possible, what is right, what is wrong, things like that, so that people can make their own choice. My role isn't to like coerce people into building EHP or like look down on damage. I build damage myself. If anything, I spend way more stones on damage than EHP. So it's not about like looking down on damage, or it's not about like pushing people to build EHP. But it's about showing people what is possible, and just alongside correcting some propagandas that are simply not true, right? So that people can make their own choice. They can decide if they want to build damage, they can decide if they want to play EHP, etc., etc. So people feel that they have a choice, they have player agency. which I believe is healthy for the game long term when people feel that they have agency instead of, hey, there's only one way to play the game, there's only one path, you only do one thing, right? Because like, how many people do you think would play a game if from the get-go, from the moment they download the game, they're told there's only one way to play the game, you can never catch up to players who have played the game like 2 years, 3 years ahead of you, or you can never catch up to players who spend more money than you. And by the way, you can't even spend those money that they spent to catch up to them, because every month there's like a cap of this premium currency you can buy, right? So even if you spend money diligently, like you can't catch up to those people. So if you're told this, like, would you play the game, right? For me, the answer is no, and I think it will be the same for a lot of people. So I really hope the game keeps its kind of sandbox identity, where you go into the game and you like, oh, there's so many upgrades, there's so many options, there's so many ways I could go damage, EHP, hybrid, CC, percent damage, blah blah blah, all of that, right? And within damage I could go like chain lightning, smart missile, death wave, poison swamp, so many choices, right? So I really hope that they keep it that way, because otherwise it's not healthy for the game long term, and people are gonna leave. Like the player base is gonna go down, and you're not really gonna get new players. As new players learn what's gonna happen in the late game, they're just not gonna be invested in the game. Like if they take a look at Reddit, they take a look at the main Discord, see what people are talking about, and they see that people are saying, oh, late game there's pretty much just one way to play the game, then as like a player who started the game day one, you're probably not gonna like be super invested in the game. You're probably just gonna uninstall right away, right? So so that's the problem. I hope TTG takes this into consideration. The few recent updates, honestly, not looking good in the right direction, because the updates keep butchering EHP playstyle, which is, by the way, a major playstyle, because the game from day one, like once you download the game, you open it, you try a few things, you're like, oh, let me try to click a few damage, let me try to click a few defensive stuff. The game naturally tells you to click defense absolute, right? Defense absolute and Thorn. That's what the game tells you to click, because you keep clicking a few damage, and then like you realize you're not really making many waves by clicking damage. And then you go click a bunch of defensive stuff, and you're like, wow, okay, my tower is actually going. So like the game naturally tells you should build EHP from day one. And then and what, like they go all the way to like mid game or late game, and then they realize like they have to build damage, and then they don't like it, like they're gonna install, right? So yeah, I hope they fix it. The recent update is not looking good, but there's always more room and more chances for course correction. So I hope they fix it, and then we attract more new players and also retain the old players, and the community would be good again. So we'll see. Yeah, tanking and healing is all about responsibility. Yep. You have to carry the mental load. Yep, the stress. Yeah, making the calls, being the one that keeps temper cool is a leadership role. Yep, absolutely agree. Age Star, you should definitely join our Discord. Steve says, yeah, you have to be okay with leading, but also being accountable. You can't avoid your mistakes, whereas DPS can. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, if the tank falls, the team probably wipes, right? And everyone's gonna point finger at you, even though maybe his DPS stood on too many poison pods, or they didn't avoid enough mechanics. They don't know how to dodge the shiny spots on the floor, or they just didn't output enough DPS, and you failed the DPS check on the boss, and then the tank died, and everybody's like, why didn't you tank better, right? I mean, and sometimes you do get like bad tank, and like they can't mitigate damage correctly, and then the healer gets blamed, like, why didn't you heal me, right? But yeah, to be frank, EHP can't be dead when it's so cheap. Free to play entry spec with the potential of so many future stone things if Tech Tree wanna switcheroo their cash grab. Yes, honestly, I think they should switcheroo their cashback grab. I would love that, because like I said, like unless you go on like Reddit and Discord, you don't even know like investing damage is a thing. Honestly, like if you just play by yourself, like in your bedroom or like under the rock, which is honestly very chill for a free to play idle game, right? Like that's how you should play, in my opinion. Shouldn't worry about all of these like, main Discord bashing people not going meta type of deal. Uh, you probably wouldn't even know um, that you should go damage because the game literally tells you from day one you're supposed to build the HP. Uh, and then I think it would be like around like midpoint where like you started getting modules, and if you get lucky and you roll like a dimension core or like project funding and that kind of stuff, then the game starts to tell you that hey, you could build damage and it will work. Uh, but yeah, so it's actually very unnatural for like the pivot from EHP to damage to happen. They pretty much have to like consult players on like a Discord or something for that to happen. So yeah. So yeah, I think probably a lot of players who like got to the point where they're supposed to buy damage, and they don't want to shell out the stone to buy damage. They probably just quit, right? I mean, probably a lot of players ended up at that. So I think it'll be interesting for TDG to look at like a kind of player funnel where they drop off kind of thing, right? Like look at player retention. Like are most players dropping off during champion? If the answer is yes, it's because of the EHP to damage switch. Even though like for EHP you can get into legend pretty cheaply, but because of all the like people on main Discord and folks like telling people, hey, EHP is dead, the pad like EHP is not viable in legend, you have to switch to damage. Like at the point you get into champion, a lot of people start to switch to damage, even though technically they don't have to, but they switch to damage thinking that's the only way. But then they realize how expensive damage is, and then they just fall out, right? So I wonder if a lot of players actually drop off in terms of where the funnel is when they like get to champion. It'll be an interesting piece of data to see for sure. So yeah, like if they add more like mid game, late game, end game, stone things for EHP, I think that would be very healthy for the game. Let's see. Luke said, "What you do for a living is the way you like to play and irrelevant in your work." I work in the tech industry, so I have a leadership role. I'm a manager, so I guess we just talked about tanks are a leadership role. So I guess in real life I'm in a leadership role, right? So I guess makes sense why I like to play tank, and why how I play the tower. Right, because I'm pretty sure, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I have to build damage, build EHP, whatever, right? If the meta is EHP and, like, everyone's are, like, bashing people building damage, then I will be the #1 advocate for damage playstyle. Because, I just like to help the underdog. Tank in real life, yes, tank in real life. If I fall, my team falls. Big responsibility. If something goes wrong, I get blamed. I absorb all the blames. But if something goes well, I give praise to my team. That's how it works. All right, so we're at the similar spot. 2148. We just passed our pure EHP build. Although somehow I do feel like this run took longer than last run. Maybe I was just talking a lot and we are having too much fun. So time, I didn't get a sense of time. But I feel like this run took longer than last run. Yo, Kamina, good luck. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the stream. For people who joined recently, let me know if you would like a recap on what we're doing here. We mostly just want to see what 28.3 brings, right? So far my conclusion is huge buff to Glass Cannon. Fleets don't even matter to damage leading towers nowadays. Like, you will die to bosses. That's how not matter fleet is to like Glass Cannon towers or damage leading hybrids. For damage leading hybrids, your EHP portion is probably it's still helpful in some circumstances, but it's probably not that helpful compared to just putting in more damage. And then for EHP players, unfortunately, pretty significant nerf when you're getting to late game to end game, when there are fleets hanging around. We also talked about the fleet ultimates happening in tier 22 to 24. We concluded that those must all be targeting EHP players as well, because the ultimates are only detriment to EHP, because all the ultimates, they only matter if the fleets hang around for long enough. But Glass Cannon is just going to butcher those fleets as they show up. They probably can't even enter tower range most of the time. So the fleet ultimate conditions from tier 22 and 24 is irrelevant for the most part for damage-focused players. And yeah, EHP is probably just not useful in tier 22 and 24. Also because of the scaling, like enemies does way too much damage. You can't really tank anything with today's EHP tooling. So yeah, so you can't. But we did do a comparison run where we did like a pure Glass Cannon 0 EHP run, and we did a pure EHP 0 Glass Cannon run. The waves are actually pretty comparative. Both of them did about like 2,000 waves, which is pretty good. But that's a huge buff to the damage side, by the way, because like 2 months ago when I did the same test, I think Glass Cannon only got around 1,300 waves. So going from that to like 2,000 wave is a pretty significant buff. But funny enough, our EHP no damage build actually did 100 extra waves compared to the all damage no EHP build. Yeah, but I think that's just because my EHP is all maxed out. But damage has like a long way to go. Like I only invested about 20,000 stones in EHP, but that's because there's nothing you can buy in EHP. So EHP is still like a viable, cheap option. But then I only invested about 90,000 in damage-related stuff. But there's like a lot more I can buy. Like there's like 200k, 300k more I can buy in damage. So much higher potential, much higher ceiling. EHP at this point is kind of capped out without the introduction of like additional tools or more like stone things we can spend stones on for EHP. Not the 30% extra like module efficiency we can buy for armor. That doesn't help. That doesn't really do anything. that 30% does like literally nothing. That's like maybe one extra shot from an overcharge, because each shot is like 1.4 times more damage than the last one. So like 1.3 times EHP is probably gonna just get you one more shot from the overcharge. But that's like, I heard that's like 8,000 stones. So 8,000 stones to get that 30 extra percent for one extra hit from the overcharge. Like, come on. Yeah, I don't think EHP is dead, but Glass Cannon in today's Legend tournament is way stronger than before. Because fleets basically don't exist for them. By the time you would die to fleet, you would die to boss before, way before you die to fleet. Okay, how are we doing on placement? Still 5th place. There's a long way to hit 4th place. 200 more waves. We'll see if we can get 4th place. I'm pretty happy if we can get 4th place. So yeah, because fleets are not really a thing for damage focused towers nowadays, I do expect big wave boost for all the damage leaning players. So like most glass cannon players and most hybrid leaning damage players should see personal best in this tournament. And then they will continue to see personal best in the future, especially when there's no fast ultimate. So I think that's going to be the state of the game for a while. Let's see what they cook up in version 29. Hopefully they reverse the direction of just butchering like one whole playstyle. And the thing is, because the game naturally tells players to go EHP, like I would expect most players to be EHP actually. Because like nothing in the game until like much later tells you have to build damage, right? So most players likely build EHP naturally. Especially since the majority of the player base is actually a silent majority where, those are the people who don't go online, they don't look at Reddit, they don't chat, they don't go to Discord. Maybe they lurk on Discord every once in a while, but they don't like interact much online. They're the silent majority. And that constitutes most of the player base. And if the silent majority plays mostly EHP, that's the majority of your player base. So by butchering EHP, you're butchering majority of your player base. So yeah, maybe someday TTG will come up with some data to give us a percentage of like EHP player versus glass cannon players. But the unofficial player survey from Reddit a while back, I remember reading on Reddit, there was a survey. You can fill out like if you're farming EHP versus farming glass cannon and whatnot, and like your stone spanning keys and whatnot. I remember from that survey, it said 60% players were farming EHP. And then I think it was 15% players doing hybrid. But for hybrid, most hybrid players, the EHP portion is relevant, right? So if we combine the hybrid portion with the EHP portion, that's 60 plus 15. So that's 75%. Okay? 75% of players where EHP is relevant. And so by butchering EHP, you're butchering 75% of your player base based on the survey from Reddit a while back. And if that's true, I certainly hope TTG would reverse course on a lot of things. Steve says, I reckon most people who think they're hybrid or even glass cannon are a form of EHP. Yeah, I guess if you rely on like taking hits with your wall and your energy shield, you're technically a form of EHP because just like percent damage, the energy shield is percent mitigation. Like each energy shield is capable of mitigating an infinite amount of damage, right? As long as it's one hit. So yeah, in a way, if you rely on the wall taking hits or the energy shield taking hits as a glass cannon player, technically you're also EHP. Just a different type of effective health. Like all of your effective healths are infinite. Oh, and by the way, so this is our actual like EHP EHP hybrid setup, right? So we have a pretty strong EHP, like damage reduction and everything. So when you see my wall go down or like energy shield depletes, it's no big deal. Like I can basically tank everything until wave 2500. Uh, like even though my health is being reduced significantly by the overheat mechanic, it's fine. Like if a boss hits me or a ray hits me or like overcharge hits me for a while, it's fine. Like we'll tank them. This is how EHP should be. You just tank these kind of stuff, right? No problem. So don't worry if you see my wall goes down and my energy shield starts depleting. But yeah, in terms of like the EHP hybrid in the new age, I think this is how it could look like. So you can see this overcharge sitting, hitting my wall. It's not doing damage yet. It's gonna be a few more waves, right? Probably like maybe 10 or even 20 more waves before it starts to do any meaningful damage. And my OA is hitting it, and my Thorn technically is still hitting it for the remaining health percentage. So it's gonna get killed eventually with like a little bit of damage. So like things like poison swamp damage is gonna be on it, and it's gonna kill it eventually. So that's the idea. Also, it looks like I'm actually defense absoluting all the overcharge hits. Like look, I think the last few hits from the overcharge, it looked like my energy shield did not go down at all. So that means my defense absolute was actually holding up against a wave 2200 overcharge, which is pretty cool. So defense absolute is actually pretty good here. Except, you don't have to build it again. Like you can, as a glass cannon player, you can just kind of kill it quickly, right? You don't have to build it. But as EHP, seems like defense absolute is actually pretty good now. Okay, we're at wave 2300. All right, still 140 waves off from fourth place. I think we'll get fourth place, which is good amount of keys and everything, because that's 15 keys. I don't know if we can hit like top 3 for this battle condition, but we'll see. And towards the later portion of the run, we can also try if Smite Toggle is still possible, which is just killing Commander with percent damage from the Smite by delaying when the Smite gets applied. So you just turn off Smite, wait a few waves, like 20 waves or so, then turn on Smite and see if the Commander dies. So we can give that a try later as well. But for now, there's no reason to do it because like my second wing hasn't popped. In case you folks haven't noticed, like my second wing hasn't popped at all. So I'm just waiting for my second wing to pop before I do any actual like microing with any of the fleet stuff. Because if my second wing doesn't pop, it means like so far nothing is a threat to me yet. So we have one commander and an overcharge on the screen. Yeah, it does look like they both go pretty deep into the tower range nowadays. I wasn't able to verify that well when I was doing the glass cannon run because they just died too fast. They barely made it into the tower. They just died like, you know, outside of the tower range. Okay, so it looks like we are taking some damage from boss, but as long as the damage is not too concentrated, we should be able to recover them using package health. Okay, so look, the commander died, right? So this is exactly what I'm talking about, where and the overcharge died too. So yes, like natively, EHP has lost the meme to kill fleets because Sorens no longer kill fleets, but if we just have a little bit of damage with a damage source that scales well, like a you know, like a poison swamp type of deal, it can go pretty well. It can go pretty well. We can still kill fleets if they sit around for long enough, but because we are focused on survivability, the fleets are going to sit around for a while. So it looks like our second wind did pop, so we're gonna turn on smite. We don't usually need smite in our regular, like in the regular situation. So we should be okay even with smite off, and then we just wait for the next commander to show up. And if it survives more than 20 waves, we just turn on smite to kill the commander, do the smite kill. We'll see if that's still available. And that's my hybrid setup. If I have time tomorrow, I might do another run, like a EHP CC run, like a proper EHP CC run, and see if it will get higher than the hybrid run. We'll see. But only if I have time tomorrow, because these runs take a long time. Yeah, but yeah, see, like that overcharge died pretty quickly because it was whittled down by OA and the Soren damage very quickly. Even though the Soren damage nor OA can actually execute it, but its health got pretty low very quickly from OA and Soren, and then it just got executed by whatever flat damage left that were available, which in this case, mostly for me, would be Poison Swamp. In this case. And looks like you start to invest in any enemy attack level skip, so scaling of damage to enemy life also push you towards EHP. Only after tier 13 that changes. Yeah, roughly like into the mid game is when that changes. So demon mode did pop, and we are within 40 waves from fourth place. So I think we are going to get fourth place. So Saboteur nowadays will sit much longer than before, but as you can see, still died decently fast, and yeah, you just need some damage to execute it. Just gonna adjust my orb setup a bit. I'm gonna turn on Smite actually because I don't think we're gonna be able to get through many commanders from this point on. So I'm just gonna leave the Smite on, just so it helps with a little bit on other stuff. I think let's get the orb slightly lower, maybe around here. Yeah, that just provides a few extra hit on the on the energy net, on the net capture. So that commander, I think, showed up at around 14, 24, 15, right? Around there. Let's see how long it can live. The problem is not the commander itself, obviously. It's the fact that it buffs speed of like fast ultimate, and then fast ultimate buffs speed of the boss, and then the boss ultimate just goes in like crazy. That's the real problem. Ooh, we have smart missiles. I don't have anything built in smart missile, but we'll activate it anyways. Maybe it will help. Okay, so nuke did go off. All right, but I think we're good to pass that guy on 2443. Because there shouldn't be any more fleet within the next like 15 waves. So we should be good getting to fourth place. All right, looks like we did pass the guy in force, so now we're in force. I don't think our run's gonna continue too much longer now that we have no second wave, no demon mode, and no nuke. But yeah, I mean, force plays pretty good in this bracket, and right after the 28.3 version hit, it will take some time to adapt to the new version because this is a major change. Tomorrow, if I have time, I will do another run, trying just a few different setup. Maybe just trying a pure EHP plus CC setup without too much damage. We'll see how that goes. Just a slightly different configuration on the module for the most part. But yeah, well, if I have time. If not, then I'm satisfied with this result. All right, look at that overcharge. That's not going to be a huge problem yet. This boss is a bigger problem. But that overcharge is getting whittled down with OA and the Sorn, even though Sorn is only doing current remaining health percentage. Then eventually its health is going to be low enough where Poison Swamp or things like that is going to be able to kill it. So we'll see. Okay, it looks like, yeah, we are pretty much 2,500 waves. That's not bad, honestly. Oh, that boss just teleported in, didn't it? That boss. Yeah, that boss teleported in. Okay. That's because of the fast ultimate buffing it. Alright, so about 2,500. Not bad at all. If I have time, I'll do another run tomorrow with a bit of a modification on the setup. But force plays is pretty good. I mean, it's the same stone amount and the key amount as the surplays. And nowadays, I don't really need too many stones because we can see like my harmony tree is fully maxed out. Right? See, everything is maxed out. And then my power tree is like pretty well developed as well. Like I got most of the key things I wanted. So yeah, so technically like we don't really need too many keys at this point, but I think they are going to introduce more things that cost keys. So it's always good to have more keys, but I'm not that down bad for keys. Since most of my key stuff is flushed out already. All right. So that's pretty much going to be today's stream. Yeah, it's about 3 hours and a half, which is a little bit longer than my usual stream, but this is the version 28.3 EHP versus Glass Cannon special. Conclusion is, again, Glass Cannon got a huge buff. Fleets no longer matter in tournament for damage leading tower. Glass Cannon do not need to build EHP at all. EHP got a sizable nerf in the late game and end game when fleets start showing up for both farming and tournament. That will be today's conclusion, and I expect damage leading players and glass cannons to be able to see a whole bunch of personal bests and just getting much higher waves compared to before. Because you will die to bosses, which is when your damage tower is supposed to die, and fleets are no longer a threat. You will not die to fleets. That is tonight's conclusion. Okay, but I do hope, I don't think this is in the right direction for sandbox type games where multiple paths and diverse build is celebrated. So I do hope TTG reverse course at some point. However, EHP is not dead. I did about 2,000 waves for glass cannon only and about 2,100 waves for EHP only. So EHP is definitely not dead. it's still viable, especially as a low cost, like low stone cost option for early, mid, and early late game as well. It's just getting into the late game and the end game if you want to compete with like people above wave 3000. I think nowadays you will need some damage. All right, so that concludes today's stream. Remember always forge your own path. This is Giga out. Hope you all have a good night.